Does it work for you? Now I don't. What?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Amity podcast, where we talk everything Amity Arena and more. First up, I want to introduce everyone. It's obviously me, Cheryl. I cast tournaments, stream from time to time, play way too much Sun, and try to meme a bit, but not as good as a quarterback. So first up, we have some see him as a boogeyman of Amity Arena ladder. He may have levels, but even they pale in comparison to his experience with the game. Some call him the best, but he is way too humble to accept that title. It is CVT, say hello.
Hey, what's up?
Next up, his family has a rivalry / friendship with the human Cobra family since Volume 1 of Ruby. You may know him from casting the Majesty Tournament, where I was always trying to sneak in jokes about his name, which never got acknowledged. But let's not drift off topic. Thank you for joining us, Drifted.
I am disgusted by your pun there, and I feel like I deserve an apology.
Maybe later.
Hello, guys. It's Drifted here. It's ya boy. And Sharo, introduce the next guest.
Little known fact, he went to the White Fang Academy and met his best friend for life there. To honor his chainsaw-wielding friend, he decided to make him his favorite card, still recovering from last patch, but here nonetheless, our special guest, the quarterback.
Young friends, how you guys doing? It's me, your boy.
Was it two you boys in a row now?
Oh, you know.
You can't take my line.
No, well, now Sharo has to do it too.
Okay,
And-
yeah, boy, I guess. You can see the topics on stream. Science enthusiast, huh? Thank you, Wobbler. So, topics. You can see them there. We will talk about the August patch first, which obviously will lead into winter. So, we're gonna place a last in the patch. Then we talk about what even is meta, very philosophical. Then we talk about current meta and maybe dip into past matters, since they could be relevant there. Then we do some Q&A. We have questions. You can still maybe send them in. Maybe Wobblins will read them. Make them work. And if we have extra time, we have some more topics we obviously can talk about, but these are the main things. So, but maybe before, you guys all had a good day?
No.
So
I had
far,
to-
so good.
I had to wake up and be like, ugh, I gotta do a podcast with Sharo. Like, that's such a drag to start off the day.
Okay. Yeah, we have all different time zones, I think. So it's definitely hard to find a time where everyone is
Well,
comfortable.
Drifted and I are in the time zone that only matters.
Yep, North America's best.
EST.
Don't at me.
Yeah, you have
EST
really
day.
good gems like Trump, for example. I hear a lot about him. So, want to dive into the first topic?
I don't think the guy that lives in Germany has much talk here.
I mean, if you're gonna mention him, you have to segue into the wall, the actual card.
The wall? We will
Yeah.
definitely talk about the wall, my
You
friend.
have
We will
it's legally
definitely-
required.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
we
it's
will
legally
do that.
required.
We will do that. So if you guys have no objections, I would go into balance changes first, newest patch, and what we think about it.
Yeah, I gotta bring up those balance changes then. Probably be a good idea.
Yeah, and I would start. This one goes out to Borderbeck. In my introduction, I said you're still recovering from the last, and I think you know what I mean. It's definitely Adam, right?
Well, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Is it
So
I am
CRVT
I'm
or
actually
Borderbeck?
mad
Oh,
at the
yeah.
Atom change. I am sincerely mad. Out of all cards that were previously a problem, okay, let's list a couple. Boundless. Was Wall even out then? I don't know. I think Wall was out by then.
Yeah.
Beam Turret. Play cards like Port. I think Port is a bit stronger than he should be. And then they nerf Atom, the one card in the game that takes needs somewhat of a skill cap to use like efficiently, and they nerf him to the point where he's unusable. It actually aggravates me because he's actually extremely fun to use, and he's broken in the right hands, but that doesn't. But the three people that are good at him in the game, you should balance
Yeah.
him around that.
Okay, I have something to say on this topic. So, I think Adam's like not terrible and not unusable right now, but he's certainly in a rough spot in ladder, simply because of reduced HP and increased HP and damage output on commons, and even turrets outlevel him. So he's really hard to use efficiently right now on ladder, but he's still really good in friendlies and maybe in a different role, not as a swarm clearer, but he's doing 100% and he's doing more now. So in
Yeah,
that role,
because
he's a bit stronger.
it's really weird because like if you're, I don't know how to, if you're like above, if you're at 5 aura, right, and you have an AoE attack and your AoE can't kill gunners, I think that, well, probably shouldn't have the AoE to begin with. Maybe, oh, almost dropped my microphone. That was bad.
Yeah, that's true, but I mean, for example, with Hugs, he's still killing in 2 shots, same as before. So it's only really gunners that changed, and they are being removed from the decks left and right.
It just
But
feels weird to
it's-
have try to switch Adam's role to like a single target assassin when we just got the best single target assassin in the game.
Yeah, that's true.
And one
And
thing about Adam too is that like it's not just that he can't kill gunners anymore. His if you used to use his double dash like he hits like that, like let's say they play squad in front of you, your double dash could kill the entire squad because your sweeping damage would also kill the thugs. But now
Yeah,
2 sweeps won't kill thugs either.
that's
So
ladder levels. He's killing them on friendlies. So
Yeah, that's
in
a
ladder
the
level
tile.
will be a problem forever. Yeah, but I mean on ladder you never really wanted to play Adam in a situation where they could drop squad on you anyway. So
well, I'm
Was what
saying like
I
you
did
could
to
use the
counter
bend squad
Adam.
with.
I used if Adam got on my side of the field, I drop squad on him, and he can't use the passive anymore because even if he dashes to any direction, he is not far enough away. The squad
I
was
mean,
kind of the counter
yeah,
anyway.
my point is that in that point, first of all, yes, the squad will counter anyway, and second, if you're going on offensive with Adam, you probably want Blake Shade him to distract, or Cinder already pre-firing the area, or you get a beam and Carmine, and just the squad takes extra damage from beam on the turret and so on. So I mean, obvious that ladder utility for him dropped because of the HP nerf, but I can't say that many interactions changed. One of the roles that got really ganked is, for example, Ursa support. He's no longer a good Ursa support as an, I don't know, AoE clear.
Yeah,
Drop
I
Ursa
think
and aura bank him and like depend on Adam to protect your lane if they rush you, and then he can rejoin the main push on the other lane. So those kind of strategies got nerfed quite a bit.
what I see, what the intention maybe was behind this change was he was supposed to use his active to kill units, and not with just one passive strike. And the second intentions I maybe had, I don't know if I thought that far, is that he should be used defensively more than offensively because that's maybe what they want him to do.
But he's still being used offensive because cancel beam. But yeah,
Yeah.
before that he was generally before beam release. Adam was a great defensive card, a good mid-range fight card, and a bad offensive card. Well, not bad, but just not without support and not without a lead and so on.
I
don't
do
think many
like how Adam can kill Shadow Blake in one cycle now. It that does feel nice. He's able to stun her and then get off one swing and he can kill her.
Yeah, and for example, there is Zero is playing a strong deck with Sport, Adam, and Y. It's a deck designed to bust beam defenses mostly, but a good part about it is that Adam's passive, even nerfed, still finishes off Blake after she gets white, for example. So
Hmm.
on the
Yeah.
topic of balance changes in general, I feel like all the balance changes generally just lag behind the meta for about 2-3 months at least. Adam nerf because he's been whined about for the past 3 months. That's what happened, and it doesn't really account for the cards like WoW, because WoW counters Adam really hard and stuff like that.
Yeah. No, Podbeck, you go.
That was
Uh,
not Porter. That was me.
Yeah,
Ah, it was you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Perfect, go.
Did you guys think that Adam needed the nerf he got? Like when I heard they were gonna nerf him, because I heard they said that on Twitter a few weeks before they got nerfed, I was expecting the only thing for them to change is HP. Like I was like, if they nerf his HP, I won't be that mad.
sorry.
His HP nerf
Someone
isn't what the problem was. I was just more surprised at how much they destroyed the dash damage to the point where you can't kill gunners. Like that was the only part I have a problem with in his nerf.
Yeah, I think maybe when I think about how to balance, the first question would be what is the goal? Do they want to make everything weaker, everything stronger, or do they want in the middle? If they want to make everything weaker or meet in the middle, Adam needed a nerf. Maybe not as much, but he needed a nerf. But if they want to make everything stronger, then they don't need to nerf him. Since they
And-
only changed Adam, I'm kind of confused because that just makes him
Yeah.
worse in a system where we have so many strong cards. We have Shadow Blake since release, being played non-stop, being really strong, and she gets ignored every time. And then we have this random card who gets weaker.
Yeah, that's true, but I mean, Shadow Black doesn't see much lower arena play, so if you look at the usage and win rates across the arenas, then it's obvious why Cat is dodging. I think every time someone just lifts a balance hammer at her, she just shades away.
That
Yeah.
was yep.
No,
That was a
can
joke.
does it. Yes,
I-
that was a joke.
I would say like maybe we can touch on meta later more. Does anyone else want to say something about Adam? Else I would move on to go through more of the patch now. To get rid of the defense meta, I mean, yeah, but I would say for the chat, big meta talk, I would say we do after the patch note, because we're looking at the topics, but meta and overall is such a big thing. If we just like go into it willy nilly now, we're gonna leave everything else in the patch notes out. And if we want to make it a more consistent show, it makes more sense to go over it first before we go into topics. Maybe we can go faster through most of the other stuff, I think, because White Fang Watchtower got more HP, less duration. I mean, what is that to say? He's now more specific in his usage, but if in these usages he is stronger, right?
Yeah, I overreacted when I seen the the Watchtower buff. And I was like, when I first seen it, I was like, wow, this is so insanely broken. But I actually have yet to see a Watchtower since the patch came out. So I mean, I think I overrated it a little bit.
Nah, I mean, it's a good change in my opinion. It brings the HP of the structure more in line with WoW and Beam Turret. I'm just sad that Dell is utterly useless right now with less HP total, not per aura, less HP than the WoW, like I said, one segment of the WoW, not even 4 of them. And yeah, Dan is just in a really bad spot. But Watchtower kinda needed a change. It has a pretty unique role right now since it's in immediate deployment structure that has quite some HP and it fires back.
Yeah,
Strong
I think
defensive drop.
with all these changes, Dan is just dead. Dan had
Yeah,
his
Dan is
time to
totally
shine,
dead.
but now we have a
Okay.
card for
I'm
every
back.
job.
Sorry about
Welcome
that.
back, my friend. And, your dog is saved.
Listen, listen. I'm selling this dog. All right. He's ruined too many videos and streams now. Anybody wants him, they can have him.
I'll give
Oh,
you
man.
50 cents and a used napkin.
Can I have the napkin? I think that's all there is to say about White Fang Watchtower. I would just go a little bit faster through them because I think the most time we'll use on the meta talk itself. White Fang dropship is suck count 5 to 4, which maybe is kind of killing it.
I mean, spam has been nerfed pretty much directly or indirectly every release for as long as I remember, honestly. Ever since, if you remember, there was a long time back, there was a patch when they changed it turret fire rate and target acquisition rate, and also buffed White Fang speed. The patch that brought in spam, and ever since then it was completely nerfed every single release.
It
So they add more.
it must be really good in lower arenas where they don't know how to counter it, which I can understand. You need to learn how to play against it, and once you do, it's not that hard in most cases. But
Yeah,
before
it's
you
more
do,
like,
you get smashed by it.
I mean, I never saw it as much of a problem because like you cannot deck. Okay, spam was a nice limiter on deck building, so you couldn't put in, I don't know, 8 3 to 4 aura cards and expect to get away with it.
But it's lower arenas exactly that. They take cool cards and they put them in their deck. They don't care about
Yeah.
if the card is good, and then they lose to spam with dropship and emerald because their deck is average aura level 5.4.
Yeah, but I mean, you could still deal with a spam with an expensive deck if you had 2 area of effect cards and you just switched up which one you used on your current rotation. The problem with spam is more like it's punishing bad plays, and it punishes you for wasting your area of effect card pointlessly. Like Counter, you try to run cap, you will see a lot of beginner players open Cinder in the back, and they will zwire no one in a turret immediately. And then you will kill them 30 seconds later with a spam wave because they don't have an area of effect anymore.
Yeah, lower
They
arena
will,
players love Neptune. From what I have seen, they don't like Cinder as much. They use it because it's really good, but they love Neptune. Neptune doesn't clear spam from dropship.
Neptune is alright against spam.
Yeah,
He
but
doesn't clear it, but he's stunning it long enough for the turret to clean up and so on. It's more like Neptune is a worse counter than Cinder.
yeah, what the game I guess has to be balanced around the masses in most cases.
Yeah, I mean the main problem I see with it is that it's like you cannot keep releasing 3 to 4 aura area of effect cards and expect that to help with spam, because we have like 2/3 to 3/4 of the entire cards available are area of effect counters to spam, and it is clearly not working. So like the 2 aura wall is a big counter or arena, since you just drop the wall and you put stuff behind it. It's easy to play, it's hard to mess up. I'm sure someone managed to, but it's fairly easy to utilize, and it costs very little, so the cost of mistake is not so great. And it's not like you would randomly drop a wall before you see a spam wave, so it's harder to mistime it as well.
Yeah,
Cheaper to get to another one. So like wall is a good counter to spam for the lower play, but it's more like the change they did in the end is dropship nerf, and going back to the patch notes, it feels like it just kills the strategy entirely. It was already not very good on even levels where turrets took 2 shots to kill tags and Blakes took 2 shots to kill tags. But now
yeah.
it's just, I don't think you need the area of effect card anymore.
I just
Get away without it.
think we're all in agreement that this patch went a little bit too far on the nerf on the White Fang dropship.
Yeah,
Um,
it just came out of nowhere.
Yeah,
I won't say out of nowhere, since if you read Reddit or Discord, there are constantly players struggling with spam. But the problem is, I feel it's a very bad approach to take to dealing with the problem, because now there is no spam.
it's pretty dead.
I mean, it can still exist probably, and it may be more balanced at the lower level, but it is completely gone, I'd say, from area beginning of area 9 and all the way up.
I think
Yeah.
spam still
Imagine
exists in a different form, but we'll talk about that in the meta section.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's more like
I
proper way to counter spam would be a good tutorial or something.
that would take time. Maybe you send an email to them if they want to hire you. I would move on to interject if I'm wrong here, but I don't think we need to talk about this change. Jell objection if you would think so. Baby Death Stalker change is 4 to 5, which makes them a bit stronger since Ravagers had 5 units. They thought, oh, we don't want to nerf Ravagers, let's buff them, give them another one, which makes them better,
Yeah.
but still not as good as Ravagers.
My problem with that is
So
that
that makes me
Go ahead,
Go
CRBT.
Okay, so it's not more like I'm fine with buffing Baby Deathstalkers to 5 to be more in line with Ravagers. At how they are more of a body block, stronger right now, and greater surround, since there are more angles to cover, so the drop, for example, on surround on port, stuff like that. But mostly, I'm questioning the philosophy behind the balance changes in general. So
Yeah,
dropship got nerfed,
I think they
but
did. It was so backwards this patch. I think like they nerfed Adam so he can't.
yes, yes,
They nerfed Adam
exactly.
and then they give power creep to stuff like Baby Deathstalkers. Like and they
Yeah.
shouldn't have buffed Baby Deathstalkers. They should have just reduced the amount of Ravengers to 4. Like there's
Yeah.
no reason to buff the one or a card. Just nerf the one that's already broken.
Yes, yes. It feels like let's say there is right now like S plus, S, and A level cards, and then everything else is F level. So what this is, we got a nerf to S class card, a nerf to A class card, but a buff to another S class card, F level cards.
Uh-huh.
It's all over the place. I'm not sure where they are going with this balance level, since if we are taking Ravagers as a baseline, as this 4BDS change clearly shows, then why are we
Yeah,
nerfing Adam
this
Yeah,
is
and
no.
nerfing Dropship?
that's
I'm
what I
sensing
mean.
Yeah,
What?
it's like what
I'm
is the
sensing a slight bias against Faunus.
Oh, I agree.
goal?
Don't get me
Yeah.
started on Faunus,
I mean,
right?
do you think Winter is responsible?
What? Speaking of Shara, what do we get? Another was it Faunus Math Squad? It only had one post so far.
Yeah, I as soon as inspiration strikes me, I'm a kind of I jump all over this place, and I need inspiration.
Imagine the squad only being one guy.
You're part of the squad, dude. You play
Yep.
Faunus.
Okay.
You did no post. You're part of the Faunus squad.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah. Next
Alright,
is I
should we
would
just move on to Baby Deathstalker Swarm?
yeah. Doesn't change anything, right?
Nope, nothing.
No, nothing actually.
Hey, fall asleep and someone plays Baby Let's Talk a Swarm, I guess they will kill my tower 1 second faster or something.
I guess.
Your turret needs to reload one more time. That's all it is.
All right, next Glinda.
This is
Oh
one of the
boy.
bigger
Oh
ones, right?
boy.
CRBG has a lot of experience with that. He tried to make it work with Raven, which is a next card.
Yeah.
How big is this change?
I don't see it as much of anything, to be honest. For Glinda
Uh,
to get a second turret now, and the turrets are a bit stronger, while Glinda herself is a bit weaker, but it doesn't matter since she doesn't die anyway, and we have Boundless June right now. So like I feel like the health change did almost exactly zero. Maybe like the one time I felt the health change was when Cancer Beam actually managed to kill my Glinda stack. But it doesn't happen all the time, and usually you can kind of out heal it. So it's pretty close in that one scenario, which is one of the actually important scenarios for the tournament player because Cancer Beams are everywhere. But yeah, moving on from that, I don't think that tower health bonus matters much. It's a bit
yeah,
to play Glinda on offense, and it's a good feeling for me because Glinda offensive turrets cannot be pulled by Carmine into the mid or Cancer Beam or whatever. So that's nice to have more static options that cannot be pulled or taunted or whatever.
yeah. It's if we are starting to look for stuff that doesn't get pulled by a specific card, maybe
Yeah,
this specific card is a problem, and we don't need
yeah, of
one
course.
answer.
Yeah,
That's
but
it's
we will see that in 2 to 3 months. I mean, that's the way it goes right now. I imagine we are seeing a nerf to Atlassian Beam Turret in 2 to 3
yeah,
months, or
yeah,
something released to kill it. I may imagine, but yeah. So there are a few issues with using Glinda on offense still because outrange it. There is still a ton of stall options with Blake Shadows, with Wall, with one aura cards that are now slightly buffed. And it still takes time for the Glinda turrets to go up while they are eating damage, so for me personally, nothing changed regarding Glinda regarding this patch.
Yeah. So what
I
we're
mean, the
seeing is
Partisan Prime and Winter are still popular or getting more popular, and both cards, I mean, over Ice Flower, for example, they started to be used more over Ice Flower. So both cards have crazy DPS in melee. So you just drop them defensively on the Glinda turret, and they wipe it out in a few seconds while it's going up, and then you kill something with the card. Have
it's a good,
strong,
it's a definitely a buff, but not game changing.
yeah.
Maybe the only thing it's big against is something like Ursa,
I
where
mean,
if you're not a good, if you're like, I get it, use one aura cards to kill Ursa. But if we speak to people about using one aura card in lower arenas, they say no. These cards are boring. So these people, this change will help with more HP. I think he needs like 1, 2, 3 more hits. I don't know.
yeah, I mean, also it feels like it doesn't exist on even levels. So, I mean, yeah, it's a decent if you look like at the broad perspective in lower arenas, but I mean, let's just remember good old 2018, and there was actually no good way to engage into Glinda. The cancer beam of the time, because there was no
Yeah.
Cinder, there was no Zwei, Penny did less damage, there were shorter duration games with lower sudden death periods, so you couldn't reliably chip down the opponent with Scroll. Place a turret in a way that turret side turret hits Blake, while Blake is shooting at Glinda turret. So there was no good way to engage it, and it got buffed this time. We
I would
have
move
more
on.
tools to deal with. Okay,
Yeah.
just I mean, if airship ever picks up again, then Glinda could be this patch could become worrying. How easily Glinda gets to stack turrets with her prolonged life and turrets are stronger, but it's not a problem right now.
Okay. I would move on to the next one, and I would give it to Protobek first because it's kind of a meme. What do you think about Raven? The changes?
Well, all right. I have used Raven all of 3 times, and I'm pretty sure all 3 of those games are in my videos when Raven came out. Because for me, at least, Raven just requires too much thinking on my part. But I know that lowering her aura from 4 to 3, just able to set up more combos. That sounds really good, especially
But
if you can just teleport. Like something like a. I know it's a bit gimmicky, but teleporting a Petrigigas right into somebody's tower.
I think what we see mostly is the Raven stacking where you teleport backwards, which I thought was the idea behind the card as first because the stun duration was way higher before.
Oh yeah,
4
4 seconds, which is nuts.
And now
It's
2.
like,
So I thought the idea behind the card was that the devs said use it to port your units backwards. And now they changed it to 2 seconds, which seems like they want us to teleport the cards on the enemy turret. Makes not a lot of sense to me.
I
does
think
does
the
the
way they did
w-
that is
oh
because
sorry.
you aura bank for like a couple times with like I'm basing this off the games I've played with Rain Buckets and him destroying me with Raven. Is that he aura banks like for like the entire game with Raven, and eventually he will get a ton of aura stacked up, and then you just teleport into that. And the 2 second delay now, it's a lot easier to get that combo off because once you aura bank for so much, it doesn't really matter how many ice flowers you can throw on top of whatever he just teleported into you. There's just too much stuff there for you to deal with, and that delay, I think that delay is actually kind of hurt Raven in a way. Like if you play her in that kind of play style,
Yeah.
because the extra couple seconds is like in double aura. That's
Yeah,
2 aura. You could have been banking.
I have a lot to say on this topic, so
Yeah,
I'll take a bit of
I
time.
know, I know.
I gave Raven a try for about 2 days and played a bunch of friendlies with Rain Buckets and with Zero and with Drifted as well. So Okay, main issues. I don't think that the 2-second change because right now Raven is teleporting units behind her and not in front of her. So considering that Raven has average move speed, that's pretty slow. So it kind of makes up early. You just have to walk up as the difference. Honestly, I feel like there are some issues with pathing and area of effect. I think Raven would be more usable if her teleport area. Right now, it is a bit easy for your opponent to mess up your unit pathing, like by dropping, I don't know, a no one at your Glinda stack or Glinda Cinder, whatever you pick, and at 6 range, and they all shoot at him, but the Raven herself walks forward because she's melee, and now she cannot bring everything back with her. It's stuff like that. It's really easy to mess up the clump. Or you put something at the edge on the side on another lane and the units start to shoot there, but the part of the clump that its side does not target that unit, it walks forward, so you don't get to bring everything back and you lose the game immediately. Advantage you had. So, I mean, if Raven had a significantly larger radius, those issues would not be a problem. That's one issue. The other issue is that units behave a bit stupidly after they come out of the teleport, and I feel like generally, for example, if you have 2 ravens, you could theoretically teleport indefinitely. Charge. But
Mhm.
units will start to stumble on each other, and even if you had units perfectly teleported behind your turret, and there was enough room to go forward, you could still have a random Glinder like go to the other lane because there is no room.
Yeah.
Because she got stuck on a Glinda and so on. It's the eye gets stupid. So I feel like after you got, for example, 2 Glindas and 2 Ravens, it's time to go. Expensive. But Raven decks overall felt like they had a lot of issues because if you have Raven, you probably want Boundless Joan, so that you can heal up your units if they try to kill them with wire, penny, or whatever area of effect damage. So you kind of want Boundless Joy, and he's good for offensive teleports with her, so you can go behind the enemy turret with Boundless Joan ability. You also probably want a quick cycle with 1 aura cards because you need to get to another Raven to go behind once again. What units you want to stack with Raven? It's probably something that can survive as wire attack and it has over average movement speed. So it's like Port, Glinda, Cinder kinda dies to wire already. And then when you start to go through all the checkpoints of what you need to cover with your deck, effects, stuns and so on, you just run out of room because you have Raven in your deck. So it's hard to build a deck. I feel like you can make a good Raven deck if you discount as a possibility some of the threats that you may face. Like if you are fine with losing to Shopkeep every game, or if you are fine to losing to Pomegranate every game, Torchic or Zwei or Penny or whatever, then you can build a good deck with Raven. But there is still a big issue with using Raven actually for this aura banking, and that's called partners in crime. And the partners in crime in particular, they can be deployed, and after like 0.3 seconds, they have their grab ability, and they just yank your Raven, and then you have a stack of Glindas or whatever you have stuck in the middle, charge it, and you cannot teleport, and then everything dies. So that's my experience with Raven. Partners in crime her really hard. And Ice Flower still has a freeze fast enough that she can prevent teleport. Just a bit slower than Partners in Crime. Being
Mhm.
said, I feel like Raven is an interesting new limiter to decks. Like, for example, if you don't have Partners in Crime or Ice Flower, then you may start to pretty much automatically lose to Raven deck. Maybe not
Hmm.
automatically, you maybe can put up enough pressures to prevent them from allowing them to stack units. It needs to be explored, but my main concern with it is that I feel like most top players or top decks that have these legendaries available to them run one of them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have Raven. It's a legendary I'm missing.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's good, but if I had be prepared for some Sun stacking. But I get your point. Raven is probably a card which is good, but it's not invincible.
I feel like Raven is good, but Partners in Crime is broken and it's in every top deck.
Yeah,
So-
Imagine
that's so
stacking
true.
Suns. Imagine getting like 4 Suns stacked up, like not using their ability with Raven. Just
It
I
setting
mean,
them
you
all
could
to
use the
deck.
ability. You could use the ability.
Yeah.
I mean, with Glindash, you get pretty much non-stop turrets from one same Glinda every time you walk up to the middle with Raven. Sun, I don't remember, his duration was like 2 times slower than Glinda right now, but you could still, with 2 Ravens, just keep teleporting Sun back.
That's what I wanna do. That's my dream. You know, I tried so much different stuff with Sun. I had 12 clones on the field. I had 5 Suns on the field. I tried a lot, but you get your limits if you don't have Raven. With Raven, my dream can come true. 30 Sun clones.
You're not gonna be happy until your phone catches fire.
You're not gonna get 30 Suns on the field because they're
Not
gonna
Suns,
stumble on
Sun
each other.
clones. Sun
Maybe you-
clones. Sun clones, is it 4? 4? Per Sun.
Yeah, so you need what, 7, 8 Suns? Yeah. I mean, the problem is they're gonna stumble on each other and then they're gonna walk somewhere else.
Yeah.
So-
I'm not saying it's easy. I don't think. I'm not saying it's good. I'm saying it's my dream.
Yeah, I understand.
All right,
Yeah.
let's move on from Raven. I think we spent a lot of time on her. And let's just kind of
Definitely.
rapid fire for the next 3. We have Bringle, Petra, and Summoner White. So what are your guys' quick thoughts on those 3 cards and what's changing them?
Ringle, better. Still not excellent. Petrogigas, better. Still not really good. Sumner Wise, better. Love it. Love her. Still not good enough.
Yeah, there is like no reason to use White Fang Lieutenant anymore because Barangle and Petrogigas are both buffed, and it makes me very sad.
Worst patch ever, right?
It definitely is. Adam got nerfed, and then you buff all the big units besides Lieutenant.
Yeah, give
he
White
will-
Fang Lieutenant like a drop skill, like like I would get something stupid.
They make an epic card with active whirlwind attack.
What they
where he
need to
spins
do,
around.
they need to, and they got rid of the one thug from the dropship, but you replace it with a lieutenant in front, and that's how you fix it.
Maybe make Lieutenant White Fang Lieutenant becomes a White Fang Suck spawner, you know? Like Queen.
Exactly, he just spawns 2 thugs every like 8 seconds.
Like a 10 or a legendary card that's just White Fang Lieutenant and Adam.
Oh my god! Goodbye bank account.
Give him Adam's old area of effect attack.
Yes.
Has to go somewhere, just give it to the White Fang Lieutenant.
That'd be crazy.
He jumps
I mean,
forward. What?
In the Chinese game,
has stolen
White Fang
Weiss's
Lieutenant has area of
Cyberlation.
effect.
Oh my god, I wish I could play the Chinese game.
So,
you
basi-
could-
so
could get
basically on this
banned.
patch is that those cards are better now. Bringle's really usable now. Petra's better. Summoner Weiss still useless.
Well,
But-
she's not as useless. I'm surprised they tuned her as fast as they did.
They got a lot of backlash. It was
She
the biggest
was-
backlash
she was
they
really
have
bad.
ever received, I think.
She was really bad.
Yeah.
I've never got more infuriated from using a unit before.
I think their Twitter blew up. They had no idea what to do. Everyone hates her. I mean, they love her, and that's why they hate her in the game right now, because she's just too bad.
All right, the
well-
highlight of the patch is winter. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. Winter, I mean, oof, another Schnee family member makes me happy. Sadly, no Faunus. But really strong unit. The only thing holding Winter back is that Partners in Crime exists.
That and every other card in the game, pretty much.
Mm.
It's
Yeah.
way more negative than I thought. Okay.
I meant not Winter, I meant Partners in Crime hold back every card in the game.
Okay. Yeah. Just Partners in
Being
Crime
correct.
seems like a better Winter.
Yeah, so on the winter shortly, a few important things to consider. That first, can be body blocked. So after she teleports to her target, she stuns her with active and pass-through damage, and then she hits the closest target to her. So she's like the old got fixed. So if Winter, for example, targets your port, you drop baby Deathstalkers around port and baby Deathstalkers. So that severely reduces her usage on an empty board on offense. So she cannot just snipe a target and then go ham on the turret. Port remains alive, he's gonna get healed. Same stuff for Partners in Crime, for Glinda, and for all those small beefy units. And the second problem is with her skill usage. Blake can shade away, so cannot snipe Blakes unless Blake already used her.
Your shadow.
If you use Winter on Weiss that is already used your skill, then Weiss will not be interrupted. Winter tends to go where the unit was at the time of skill activation. So if any unit moves away from that spot, for example, we are Raven teleport, or Weiss when she uses her skill, she moves forward,
Yeah.
or whatever you name it, Winter is gonna land on that spot and lose her skill. And
Yeah. It's
so
people
if you
said.
have oh god damn it.
Oh god, yeah. I'm gonna bring up my point. I'm dominating right now for 5 seconds. My point is, you can every card you really want to counter with Winter, which is Shadow Blake, Ice Flower, for example, can counter Winter with the right timing. I tested that. If you time Ice Flower's ability right when you see the birds flying or to her, she does not get the damage. She freezes Winter, and after she gets out, she's stunned for a short amount of time because most of the time already used up in her own skill. And if you do it on Shadow Blake, if she is active still ready, you can dodge backwards, and the birds hit the shadow. So Shadow Blake is safe.
It's complete
Yep.
jokes. When I was friendly in CRVT the other day, I was like noticing that. I was like, if you just time Winter right, I mean Ice Flower right, Winter can't touch Ice Flower, and then you basically have a 1 aura Ice Flower unit because you just killed the 4 aura card that's just useless. And if you get a second ability off, then you just kind of win. It's
Yes. So that was the thing, yeah. And in general, if enemy Winter got my Shadow Blake, I take it as a sign that I need some sleep.
I've noticed a few times where
Yeah,
my
so
Winter, she chases down Crow after he goes into his bird form. She chases him down as if he just destroyed Atlas military technology. It's pretty great watching. I don't know.
They are in the same arena.
It's like a 50-50 chance that that she doesn't do it.
I mean, if you want to watch this for real, we can watch it on stream on some point, port together. It's a show. No, but yeah, I think Winter is a good card, definitely. And for someone who has not pictures in pictures in crime, cool, partners in crime, she's a good choice, you know. But if you get in the and most people that are in the lower levels probably don't even know that Shadow Blade can dodge this stuff or dodge Ice Flower if you time it correctly. So she's a great card there, but I see definite problems for her in higher arena. The big saving point for her maybe is killing Cinder as a turret and then hitting the turret of the enemy. That's the best I have seen from her.
Is going against Cinder right now, so Spam got nerfed, and so there are a lot of reasons to drop Cinder from your deck right now, and Winter is just yet another one on them.
Yeah.
So yeah, Cinder is still good at sniping targets, such as Cinder that are going to die to her skill, and then she can go ham on the turret. And Cinder, I think, is still a really good such a finisher card attempt when you already got an offense going. So I think Winter could work if the meta ever shifts away from the beam turret defense, where you have turrets and walls that Winter cannot go to. So Winter would be awesome if you had a sort of main push going that forces defensive deployments around turret, and then Winter goes behind it, shanks the unit, and goes on the turret. So
Yeah, that she would be
it just isn't the meta.
Which, by the
What
way,
was
I
it?
think we can move on from winter specific to maybe meta, because it's kind of the point against winter, right? It's a meta
So
now.
the last thing about Winter is that she has 14 range. Was it 14? I don't remember,
it's
but
14.
really big range. So defensive Winter can still do some really nice work with her non-interruptible stun. She also has this crazy DPS where you can, for example, drop her on the Ursa, and she will kill the Ursa and slow it down with her passive ability. And if they drop port behind the Ursa, she goes and kills port. So
Well,
she's that sort of unit. But the problem is that a lot of things that Winter does well, Partners Crime do better.
real quick, because I see in chat, are we not gonna talk about the 8-second stun? We can talk about it, but I don't know what there's much to say. It's a really good stun. It's really long. It's nice against Ursa, I've realized. But most of the times, if you stun the unit is dead. The only time I really realized it was 8 seconds was when my Ice Flower was stunned after killing Winter with the active, where it was like, nice, she can charge up energy for a next active, or if I stunned the Ursa the enemy played, which is then okay, yeah, I get it. Ursa meta, they want to kill it, I guess.
My main thing about this stun is it's mostly useless because 8 seconds you only need on stuff like Bringo or Ursa, but you probably don't really want to use the stun on those cards. You want, I mean, the tanks in Amity Arena are those units that cannot protect themselves.
Yeah, it's what I said somewhere as well before. It's like the tank are the units, they are the big babies. You want them to get to the turret somehow, but they have a lot of HP, but they can't protect themselves. You need an army of really scrawny, weak dudes and girls to protect the big, strong tank because he can't do anything.
It's so
Yes,
true.
so you don't use Winter's active on the unit that cannot protect themselves. You just kill that unit, and if they deploy something to protect it, that's when Winter goes in with her skill, and then she kills Port in like 1 second. So the 8-second stun is not really relevant.
One thing I think about Winter that really highlights like a big problem in this game is that how almost like almost useless some melee units are that are like single target. Like Crow doesn't suffer from this because he attacks an AoE, but like Winter, like you're saying, like if you stun a port, you just drop BDS around him, and then the port just kills the Winter, and nothing happens. Like that's like melee
That's
units are
0.6.
so bad.
Yeah, Winter has crazy fast target acquisition. It might be even 0, and he has 0.6 attack speed, and even she doesn't actually kill the 5 BDS in time to get another hit on port.
Yeah, that's my problem with melee units. Like Adam's like the one exception because he kind of has some AoE to him, but like
He's kind of
a
like
lot
a
of
range unit, yeah.
and like just single target melee units are just so bad. They're almost all awful.
Yeah,
Except
Yeah.
Sun.
And my Fang Lieutenant.
Yeah,
Sun
obviously,
is not
obviously, that
single
one.
target. Sun is not single target. Get out of here.
Okay, yeah. Well, any other thoughts on a winter quarterback? Even if you have nothing else to say love it or hate it.
Oh well, Winter is definitely she's despite being a really good card, she's just really fun to use, which is always a plus in my book. If a card's good or bad, I really enjoy if a card's just fun to use, and that's Winter.
Yeah. I agree. I play Winter at the moment instead of Partners in Crime because she's more fun to use, I guess. But when I see CRT, I think, no, maybe not. But against, yeah.
Yeah, I get. Do we think Winter replaces Neo? Well, Neo is still a queen of RNG, and you cannot target Winter on a structure, you cannot target her on a turret, so actually for busting the cancer beam defense, right now Neo is better. Because Neo can actually get to the turret sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Which
I mean,
I
she
think we're
doesn't
done
have
with
to
Winter.
do it often.
I think we're done with Winter because it goes directly into meta, right? Which I would first. I wanted to make clear, if you guys disagree, you can tell me what is meta, which is important for me because there are many different definitions. I think meta is what is good right now, what is best right now for high level is what I see meta. What is the best possible thing I can play right now on the highest skill level? There's
I mean,
still a
meta
lower
does
level
stand
meta,
for
but
most efficient tactic available. So I mean,
yeah,
It's, I mean, cutting edge pretty much.
Yeah, basically, like what do I want to play if I want to win games?
yeah, but there's always a lower level meta. In other games I played, there's always like if you're challenger, like the highest rank ever, there's a real meta. But if you're like bronze player in any game, there's different meta. But we're talking about the high level meta here.
If you're bronze, you just go proxy gate. Sorry. But
Yeah.
yeah.
That's like what I start. We can definitely we already did. We had some. I tried to interject some talk about lower levels, right? Yeah, but we can reference that. But when we talk about meta, it's most of the time it's about what is the best and the highest level.
Yeah, so I feel like there is a distinction between friendlies and tournament. Tournament,
Yeah,
I mean ladder levels, because new cards, not everyone got them leveled up. There is still rarity issues with legendaries and epics lagging significantly behind epic behind rares and commons, and the restored levels it's too low. So I feel like ladder right now is still only now transitioning into getting port in every deck.
which is funny.
Yeah,
It's
it's funny because he's going a bit out of it for the cutting edge friendlies meta. I feel like, but the ladder just now on the top is starting to catch up to using port more because we start to see level 8, 9 and higher ports.
Yeah, this is always if you play ladder, it's just for an example, right? We often see comments at level 11, 12, 13, right? And
Yeah.
if I see a level 11 comment and I have my legendary partners in crimes, I think he's now level 2, but he was level 1 not long ago. He's really under leveled. If I play against level 11 comments, my partners in crime should be level 3. If I play against level 12 comments, he should be level 4. If I play against level 13 comments, he should be in theory level 5.
I mean,
No
he's
one,
not that useful against commands, but I get your point.
yeah, no one has high level legendaries. All legendaries are under leveled.
Yeah,
No
Adam
one
would
share
be a
'em.
better example, I imagine. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't know Nepia. Who has a level 5 legendary? I don't know
I
anyone.
mean, yeah. Anyone yet? Probably.
I mean,
At
there's only
least
a
we have
couple
some level
commons that
4s.
There's only a couple legendaries that there's only a couple commons that really like matter if they're over leveled. Like Paladin
say look.
and like Ursa. That's about it. Like yeah, like
Bale pack?
over level Beowulf pack is like it's hard, but like there's not too much of a difference between level 11 and level 13 if you
I'd
have
say
like
there is
Ice
a big
Flower in your
difference.
deck. You think so? I don't think
Yeah,
so.
what abuses you with overlevel Biopack is split pushes, because you cannot just ice flower them.
That's true.
It's a very funny difference. I once so an even level game where a split push Biopack died to like a Nolan on one side and Ravagers on the other side.
Mm.
With my out account on a level 8 turret against a level 12 Biopack, 2 Bios actually killed the turret. So that's a big difference. On even levels, Biopack often just doesn't make it to the turret even against Cinder and Blakefire, and they are not the highest DPS in the game.
Yeah, if you have
Ladder,
if you even levels is
on ladder, for
pack
example,
is not that strong. I don't know why we are cutting each other off. Just
it's usable, but yeah. For example, against 155, when he was running Biopack, hacks in my deck just so that something that doesn't die to Flint and something that can body block them and has crazy DPS to make the difference. And the hacks also were high level, of course. But I mean, I had to adjust just because max commons are scary. One of them, if your card takes a lot of turret fire, really good with overlevel on the ladder, like AKs, Beopack, tags, because all the turrets are always low level.
I got a message from the Humane Cobra family, Drifted.
Yep.
I think you know him. He says 155 has 3 legendaries on level 5. Bumblebee, Ice Flower, and maybe Oobleck, he says. So there is someone who has high level legendaries, but it's definitely not the norm.
Yeah,
And
you can't say 155. He's in a very big exception to the rule kind of there.
Even he had level 4 Ice Flower, I think, before winter release, so he didn't use her because she wasn't max, but I saw her once or twice.
yeah, I mean, it's even a lot of people when legendaries came out, and even still people that are not as involved into the community, and maybe higher level, like legendaries are so overpowered. And now, like Wobblins was looking for people with high level legendaries, I saw, and no one had a legendary in their deck. There was one deck with Partners in Crime, no other people in the higher rankings. Most people don't even use legendaries right now. So yeah, there's Partners in Crime, who is really good. He's broken. There's usable Ice Flower. We had Adam before, who was good, but I don't
Still
think
suffered
legendaries.
from level. For example, I had for a long time I didn't have Adam, but then I got a level 1 Adam on my main account, and I didn't use him anyway because he wouldn't kill level 12 counters, and they were still popular back then. So like even Adam needs like level 3 to be used in like top 10 of the ladder.
Yeah, I found Adam was useless until I
5.
got him to level 2. I mean, now he's useless again, but that's beside the point.
He's now a
Yeah.
single target killer. That's why they released Winter, because I thought, no, Adam would be too good for the job. We need Winter now for an offensive single target killer. To make him really.
Okay, on the topic of legendary levels, look at it from the lower player perspective. If you have like level 6 rares, level 3, maybe 2.
They can
or
understand,
epic,
right? There's one
and
dude
you
who has
find
Ice
them
Flower.
in epic. Yeah, and she's immediately normalized to level 4 epic. So of course she's gonna be OP. She's over leveling the epics at that point. She's gonna be the scariest thing around.
You just they don't see it as, oh my god, this card is over leveled. Maybe it would have been good to just write the number for every card the same. Like an epic card starts at level 4, and a legendary card would start at level. No, at which level would legendary start? And epics wouldn't start at
9.
4.
I mean, if you normalize everything to commons, then it's 9.
Yeah, so when if we normalize it to come there. But if we just had levels, so people see, oh my god, level 1 Ice Flower, how OP is it against my level 5 Yatsuhashi? And then I see, oh, it's a level 9 Ice Flower against my level 5 Yatsuhashi. It's easier to deal with it. It's not good. I mean, Yatsuhashi maybe not the best option, but this player just started. He doesn't know. Just more clear numbers for players to even understand what's happening.
Mostly people see Ice Flower is broken because if you go to the lava arena, there are 2 things that generally happen. First is someone dumps their entire aura into one lane. Maybe at the beginning of the match, maybe at the middle of the match, but it's gonna happen. So maybe they won't even have the lead at the point, but they will dump everything into one nice area for Ice Flower to nuke.
Yeah.
And for the defensive player, it's a very intuitive play. They simply clumsily play Ice Flower against it.
It's just so easy. If it's what most people want in lower levels is, oh, I want a really nice big army, or I want the strongest dude ever going down the lane. So they dump everything into the strongest dude, which can be Ursa, Paladin, whatever, and support that with what they have left. Or they dump everything, every White Fang unit you can imagine, which costs under 3 aura or 3 aura max, into one lane, and then gets destroyed by Ice Flower. They're like, that's unfair. I spent all my aura and you only had to spend 5 aura. But they don't understand that's not the best play. You need to bait out the Ice Flower. Look what has the enemy player in his hand. Can I do this really strong push right now, or does he have a counter? They don't think about that.
Quick question. Are we all in agreement that Ice Flower is not overpowered? Like, can we agree on that?
I don't think she's... she's manageable.
Like
So
even
like,
go ahead, CRBT.
so Ice Flower right now I keep only in one deck, and it's Shopkeep deck, because I need a global AOE and slow and general in one package against AKs, but that Shopkeep deck isn't good anyway right now against the meta cancer beam and stuff.
I use them whenever I
So
think like I don't want to play Shadow Blake because I dislike the card, even though it's the best card in the game, maybe. So I'm gonna play Ice Flower, since without Ice Flower I don't have anything against someone who stacks 20 AKs.
Sorry, I'm reading in chat, and they say, like Shadow was saying that invincibility frames is the problem. And I think like if she didn't have invincibility frames, no one would play her because she'd just be trash.
yeah,
think-
of course. The
like,
skill animation takes forever to finish. If you could interrupt it in the middle, you would get the maybe one arrow. You probably won't get even that one arrow. Generally, that's about the time when the Y comes in. If they try to kill her immediately, so you just get the one arrow.
Yeah,
Why would
I-
you do that? You could play just regular Vice for 3 aura.
Here's what I
And
think the
cycle.
big problem is. Ice Flower breaks the rules of the game in the people in most eyes for them, because there's no other unit who has invincibility frames to my knowledge. Except, I mean, Crow, obviously, but I mean, like, Ice Flower had them. Crow's the
Yeah, I
second unit
mean,
that breaks it with invincibility frames. And if more units had that, people wouldn't even talk about it that much. Because it's the only unit that has it, in their eyes, that's breaking the game.
yeah, I'm just mean that power creep has gone way beyond Ice Flower. So, for example, even if we look back, we could have no Ice Flower, but that big push would still be punished by, for example, Rocket Yang. The only exception would be that you could use Torchwick to clear Rocket Yang. There, in the 2018 meta, could use something like Baby Deathstalkers to defend instead, something that a pre-deployed Torchwick would not be able to handle. So the point is that big pushes never worked without a significant lead. Problematic
Yeah.
that right it made big pushes not so workable even with a significant lead because she couldn't be interrupted. So you had, let's say you had like more than 4 aura lead and you just drop Torchwick just in case, because Ice Flower has iframes, unless he like walks in front and zones out it and so on. But all of that is moot because you can tank Ice Flower with Boundless John. So you cannot interrupt her, but you can out heal her.
But that's harder to do. That requires more
I mean, no,
thinking and play.
put in
What
Boundless
if I
John in
want
deck
to be
because you're
lazy?
running AKs and you heal. I don't know. You can get your Boundless John frozen because you played him in front for some reason.
Boundless John, best tank.
Is it the name of your next video? You make a Boundless John tank deck?
I can give you a comparison. So you can out heal Ice Flower right now and continue with your push because her freeze time was already reduced. But if you are facing at Legion Beam turret and Carmine that can group up your unit for that turret from across the map in an interruptible fashion, do that because Beam does more damage than Ice Flower.
So
Oh,
CRBT,
and
I
your
have, I
unit,
have one thing to say about you out healing like Boundless John. With the fact that Ravagers exist, that's not really true. Like the amount of people that try and throw AKs or like Xeon family or whatever how you pronounce that,
yeah,
and they
that is
come in my
why
lane
you
and they
have
balance heal, and I just throw Ravagers and everything just dies.
your own Ravagers behind AKs, and that's also a good point. But that's generally why decks such as AKs and or Biopack should run Gunners instead of 5 BDS. So you have range to shoot down Ravagers. But yeah, you're right. Ice Flower, generally right now Ice Flower is always used with a source of DPS. Looking at is that to have Ice Flower and a source of DPS, you need amount of aura, so maybe the push was already kind of a bad idea at the time. So like you cannot drop a shopkeep at, for example, you see enemy play a 10 aura Blake in the back, so you drop a shopkeep and you cannot really expect to survive even with Icebound Ravagers, if they go for AKs, you need to use the freeze on AKs or they will take your turret. So after you drop Gunners and Boundless John, so you lose the turret pretty much guaranteed. Even if they spend 3 overrun Blakes, it cannot rejoin the fight immediately. So like, heal Ice Flower. That was my point. You cannot out heal Carmine and Beam Turret unless it's like Port and he has a significant amount of HP.
Yeah, no. By the way, it seems to be a big point, right? Beam turret plus Carmine. That's what you call the Kensam meta. So I would be interested in, because I don't even know if everyone knows what that is. If you could explain what even is Kensam meta and what does it do and why does it suck?
Wait,
Okay,
wait, hold on. Should we even explain this? Do we want more people playing this?
I think
If you
it's
want,
fine.
look. Either we explain it or we don't talk about it at all and don't even mention it.
Don't even
Just-
acknowledge.
I mean,
The more we
I
see
think
it, the
it's fine
more likely it's going to
explain
get
it.
changed.
It's not very easy to use, so the point is moot. We
That
could
is-
see
that is
people try to use it and laugh at it. So, alright. The main issue is Beam Turret has too much HP, too much damage, too low cost. So, it's for 3 aura. It has more HP than Den, because just everyone hates Den, I imagine. And it has
No, not
Uh,
then.
Then it's
Yeah.
just dirt.
Still 11, 13 for me.
damage. My level 12 Den has less HP than my level 9 Wall.
I requested it in the guild. Why the academy? Why this is so bad now? God.
Yeah, so there aren't really many counters to Beam Turret. So if you wanted to look for a weak point of a Beam Turret, then it's her 2-second deployment time. That's quite a lot, so if you like deploy a front squad or front Blake, then she's not the best card to use. Just gonna take a while to deploy. Might take too much damage in the meanwhile. But good thing that we have Carmine that has almost immediate deployment and almost immediate skill activation. I think she was like 0.5 seconds to deploy and about the same to start her skill. You can use Carmine reactively against Sun, who's activating his skill, and get clones of the turret. That's how fast Carmine is.
That's why you need to outplay the enemy, outsync him, use Sun cleverly.
The main point is that Carmine can already trade evenly with offensive deployed Blake or squad, and there isn't much else that they can play offensively. So if you take Beam and Carmine, the main point is there is no way to engage it in a good trade.
No, nothing. Nothing.
No
There's
way
literally
to
nothing you
push
can do.
it. It has too much
What-
HP to get the White. The White takes off less than half HP of the Beam turret, so it stays up long enough that
To give an example
true.
how bad this thing is, right? I played my deck against Japanese Alicia or something. I don't know. This person's in the Japanese academy, so I guess it's a Japanese player.
Yeah.
And I had
Alicia, yeah.
Yeah, and I had the turret, the right turret. I had down the enemy turret to 230 HP or so, while my turrets were full health. And then suddenly something clicked for Alicia. She, I will say she because the name sounds female. I don't care. Or they, should I say? No, whatever. So then it clicked in the brain, and the beam turret Carmine plays were perfectly afterwards, and I could do nothing. My entire right side just got slowly destroyed by the few hits the beam turret got in when Carmine could force units in front of my turret, and the defense was too much. I couldn't break through. So the only option for me was to start split pushing on the left side. But if you're really good, you could even stop that with this combination.
yeah, because Carmine just gets everything from. Carmine gets both
Yeah.
parts of the split push in the middle, so that's not really an option.
Yeah,
And
but I was lucky that
There is still a wall. We cannot forget a wall. Not every deck runs both Beam Turret and Wall at the same time. Sometimes they put in Neon, but Wall is also blocking both lanes.
yeah. Screw that. Why is it allowed to be placed in the middle? At the start, I thought, okay, you can place the wall to the right and you can place it to the left. And then later on, as the day went release, I realized, wait, I can drop it in the middle? Why? That seems so busted.
Yeah. So that's not all the problems with the cancer beam turret. The other problem is, of course, that it's generally supported by partners in crime. Partners in
Yeah.
crime, the card that is pretty much guaranteed to gain a positive trait so long as your opponent plays a unit that costs more than 3. Or 3. Even 3. 3 is good. Just play partners in crime and you'll gain value.
And port. You can play that with port too, like servos deck. Like that's
Yeah.
not fun to play
I
against.
Like port is more of a cancer beam buster for me right now. So to give you some perspective, we tested with rain buckets, and I used my shopkeep deck with ice flower, Blake, Cinder, and Boundless John, and I went like 1 win and 30 losses. It was not very close. There were games where rain would miss Penny on shopkeep. That's a 6 aura swing. Because
Yep.
shopkeep gains 2 aura and Penny costs 4, so it's like a 6 aura swing. And before Boundless John, that sort of difference usually means that they lose a turret almost immediately. But he was able to hold on anyway. So the few issues with this is generally the beam turret range Blake. 6 range cards.
Hmm.
Base range, that means you can Carmine in a spot where a beam is shooting at the group, but the group is not shooting back unless it's Cinder, and Cinder just doesn't have enough HP. Enough DPS to bring down the turret even if you are trying to heal Cinder with Boundless Zone.
What would you
Pretty
guys
much
do to nerf it though?
see HP and damage across the board and remove the stupid pierce.
Uh,
So the stupid pierce
Go ahead.
is part of the cancer beam strategy, so if you have a good immediately threatening card that will do a lot of cheap damage, pretty much you play Adam at the bridge at the front, you maybe put behind him Nolan and Ravagers just so that they can't try to tank the damage. And then you also put Beam behind him. You really need to block Adam, or he'll get to the turret and do crazy damage because he's doing to the turret for some reason. And they buffed it. So
Never understood why he does so much damage to the turret. My Bumblebee level 3, Adam level 2. Adam does nearly 100 damage more to the turret than Bumblebee. Bumblebee is 1 aura more expensive and less useful in any other situation.
But Shero, Bumblebee can jump immediately to the turret.
and shit.
so can Adam.
Yeah, let's talk about Crow then, huh? He can't jump to. No, he can jump to the goddamn turret, and he's better than Bumblebee at it. It's a longer range. He can't be taunted by Neon. He does AoE. There's no reason for Bumblebee to be this bad. There's for every job she can do, there's a unit that does it better. And there's Biker Yang, who is the same without the jump. Why?
Yeah.
Why does this card exist?
I mean, going back to Adam, so the main difficulty in holding that on is if you drop something that has very little HP, like, I don't know, Ravages 5 BDS, then Carmine Field already immediately kills it. On, then Adam will kill it, or if you drop something like Roy, then Adam and Ravagers behind him will kill it, and he'll just keep. Low HP units don't force Adam to use dash. So you need something like, I don't know, to drop port on him, or partners in crime, or Glinda, or whatever. Something that has like on normalized levels like 1500 HP. Like a tank unit. And we don't really like melee tanks in this meta because they're kinda useless. Sorry, Vomit Boy. So the problem with that is if the unit doesn't die immediately to Adam, then Carmine is pulling the unit in the spot between Beam and turret, so Beam is firing at that unit and dealing crazy cheap damage because it's doing 100% as well. So I do not know of a way to stop that tactic from doing crazy damage beyond dropping a wall right in front of your turret. So wall has a lot of HP and it doesn't get pulled by Carmine, so beam is not firing. So that forces Adam to use dash to get to the turret, and then you stick an own on him or partners in crime or Toshik or whatever. So counter tactic, but it's not like they have to do it every time. The deck can still run Penny for global chip or Penny to support Adam chip. The big problem with that is actually doing counter damage and everything with the beam turret. So I personally think there are two main ways to try to counter that. Boringo stacking with Torchwick. So maybe Shadow some other week would chip it on that and describe how it works, but maybe Boringo after his buff can break through the defense. Is what Server used in the last tournament, and generally it is about using Port as the buster instead of, for example, Blake stack or whatever. Port, he has more HP and he is more threatening, and healing him up. And
So,
about it is that he can outlast the Carmine beam duration with Boneless John Help, then he can step forward, shoot, and when he shoots there, just spray the turret for 500 damage at least if he hits it. So, and if you get double port, then of course it becomes much more problematic for the defense. So like port can kind of do it. Like once partners in crime is added for both sides, 50 at best. I think with good defensive play, or if they run neon and so on, then the Carmine beam deck might be favored. A cutting edge meta as I perceive it.
what I would do to the beam turret if I was like a balancing guy, right? The balancing team, you need to change something about it. You could just be lazy and say, okay, let's make it 5 aura. Maybe they don't play it then. But what would make more sense is maybe nerfing the target acquiring range so that more stuff is in range to take the beam turret back, or /and nerf the max range of the damage, or /and the third option would be to decrease the damage he does to targets after the first target he hits.
I
If your
think a
goal is to
cooler
keep the identity the same, go.
I think a cooler idea would be to make it a specific card that's so unique. So instead of having it like as like a normal structure card, make it literally like a glass cannon. So like reduce its HP to like 300 HP, but like give its target acquisition range like 7. Like make it stupid. Make it something stupid, but make it so like a cinder can one hit it.
I
So
mean,
you're
you're
saying
just making
May.
it as a standing cinder and then it gets white.
So
Yeah, like I
you,
said, but there's a lot of things you can do against that though. Like if you have like as long as you make it like a glass cannon, like and you can take care of it really easily. You can have cinders, Y,
I
ice
don't think
flower,
it would
atom.
be that much use with too little HP, but white, I couldn't see it being used too much.
Yeah, like that's just an idea, just like to
Bad
distinguish
design.
cards and give it like a really cool thing. Like we need more cards like Atom that like just are very unique in their design and not just kind of like weird cards. Like I want something that's very unique, and I think like doing some Beam Chart has
you must
potential to do that.
you mispronounce Sun, by the way. He's unique, right? Uh,
Yeah.
but
Sun is actually one of the cards that maybe can kind of work against
Yeah.
Carmine Beam defense. Of course, you first need to force Carmine and Beam with your other cards, because Carmine can counter Sun. Of course, that Carmine Beam generally runs partners in crime. So your options get very severely reduced by these 3 cards.
By the way,
And then
Drifted,
there is Wolf.
you just created Structure May. Just AoE.
Yeah,
So-
that's the structure May.
let's, let's put May on top of the turret and give it some wheels. Then we got a structure moving May beam turret.
There's an idea.
Let's just
That's
go
a
back
new
to the Pro
legendary
meta
card.
and delete fucking those. Let's delete Neon Cat. Let's just like go back to Crow meta and delete.
Yeah.
Be good.
I think there are like in 2019 there are only 2 cards that I would ask to be removed all the time, and that was Neon and now the Beam Turret. Just shoot it in the head and be done with it.
Yep.
It's
Put
crazy
it
how
there with
often I
Kira.
see Neon Cat with all these structures going around.
Yeah, Neon Cat is like, you know when there's power creep, when one of the most broken card 2 months ago is barely played now.
I think Neon Cat is a very good pick for the Cancer Beam deck, but you probably want to WoW in the mirror. But you probably want Neon in isn't a mirror match. So Neon is still good.
I got
Yeah,
it now.
she's still
If
good.
the, if,
Just
the,
don't see her as much.
if the enemy plays beam turret in range to your turret, right? You place Neon Cat, so the beam turret can attack your turret 3 or 4 times to commit seppuku, you know? Because you don't want to deal with
Yeah.
it right now.
Just in general, Winter and the Beam Turrets are just such a punishing card for, oh, you put anything behind like your turret and the bridge.
Yeah. Maybe make it so that beam turret can't damage structures? I don't know.
It'd be a shame if you played anything to defend this.
Get on the meme Potter back.
You can play with the Beam Turret, like you can distract it from the sides by dropping like Ravagers here, no one's there, and hopefully by the time the Beam Turret clears those weird angles, you actually kill the Beam Turret, but this thing has so much HP right now.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It
Like you
might
could
deal
do that, but you're
anyway.
still gonna go aura negative. No matter what, you're gonna go like aura negative.
Or maybe give it an angle, you know? Like it can only fire in 45 radius.
I mean, there is still Carmine that puts everything inside that angle, so like the tactic of distracting Beam Turret with a side known is basically you just
And also, like, if you
drop
place
him
it,
and
if,
pray.
if you place beam turret, it faces forward and can only shoot like in 45-degree angle would be another idea. Then you had you would have more range units.
You could go
Carmine
from the side, yeah. But Carmine is still gonna fix most of the issues. Like you could do a bit more split pushes with it.
Yeah, you could do more split pushes,
Sure.
and more units would be good against it. Because right now, the only thing that really can outrange it is Cinder and May.
I mean, May
Since it has 360
horrible.
grade.
Just rest in peace, May. It was good
Yeah.
to run you for 3 months and to get you to level 12. It's the end of 2018. It was very fun. So Cinder just doesn't have the damage output and HP to deal with the turret.
By the way, fun story. I remember when I was closing into 3K before season started. I played against Rain Bucket sometime, and he made me hate May for a short period of time where I had never seen it before because I was a kinda new player, and he destroyed me with his stupid May Emerald deck. I was
It was
really
fun.
sad.
It wasn't stupid. It was fun.
Yeah. For someone who
need
only plays Sun,
play it.
no.
You guys know? You guys know what's really good against structures?
What?
I know it. I know it. Does it start with?
It's a chainsaw. Chainsaws are really good against structures.
Oh, Chainsaw is decent as thrown in front of Cancer Beam on offense, so they play something to deal with your chainsaw, and then Beam fires at their turret because it's broken.
We need
CRVT,
to
right? Like,
introduce. We need to introduce reverse Carmine, where you can pull your own units forward.
yeah,
and just
yeah.
close the door.
I
Then you
think
can
that
pull your watch for
when the
lieutenant
tactic
into
started
the.
to play, so when the tactic started to play, I believe very popular reaction was, damn, I wish my Carmine could pull my units outside of this damn beam range.
It's called Raven.
No,
Yeah,
no,
give me Raven.
no. Your units can need to stay there and shoot. They just don't need to move forward by their Carmine.
Wait, I just thought about this. Beam Turret is Ooblik, but good.
Yeah, man, there are so many
Nah.
cards that are Oobleck but good. Roy is Oobleck but good, and Roy is not played that much.
That's quite the statement.
Turret is Roy on
That
crack.
is.
Yeah,
Is
you
Ooblik
got
that
Oobleck?
bad that Roy is just better Ooblik?
It is, right? He's so cheap. He's 2 aura. He just really damage-wise, you don't care. You can take Roy over Oobleck if you want to. For 2 aura, I take this trade. And the active from Oobleck, It's so bad. I have not seen one situation where I played Oobleck, used the active, and didn't feel like, huh, that was really bad. It was useless.
Because I'm pretty sure it does like less DPS than like actually just like staying
Forgot,
on
what is
attack.
Oobleck? Can you eat it?
What's that?
Oobleck,
What's Oobleck? Can you eat it?
Does it taste
I
good?
believe it's been 1,000 games since I've seen one.
I mean, he's better at tanking than Roy. That's the only plus I see there.
a couple days ago, I just unlocked Oobleck and I got 3 Ooblecks out in one game, and oh boy, the DPS with 3 Ooblecks is nuts.
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
we
man.
had- Deathstalkers, so you can like play them as a surprise, and maybe your opponent blue screens for let's say 15 seconds, and then they will actually kill a turret. But if you play Oobleck and your opponent blue screens for 15 seconds, the turret will kill him anyway. So he cannot be even used as a surprise factor.
Oh, I see the active on this. Oh, it killed Lancers. It killed Lancers. I'm. Oof.
Well,
Never
it's the
mind.
game
If,
Lancers.
if the active kills Lancers, he must be really good. But I think Lancers. No, it's even levels. But really, why? Why did they do my boy dirty that like this? This is
So Oobleck
best-
and turret lost the side for me. That's kind of sad.
I hope they buff
Ah.
Oobleck. He's actually a fun card. Like I think all they need to do is give him a slight HP buff and upgrade his base range from 5.5 to 6, so he can match like Shadow
There are
Blaze.
people that it's that way. If they can take 30% of the stats from the beam turret and put it on Oobleck. That would be perfect. That would be just
And,
right.
and
Make
give him
Oobleck
another
actually
active.
Legendary.
Make it so his active has 0 activation time. Then it would be an active you could consider using.
Oh,
Jesus.
if it had 0 activation time, no, broken that would be. That'd be so
Instant
fun.
cast.
It wouldn't be broken,
instant
though.
cast
It would be
cancel.
like partners in crime.
The range is garbage on the active. The range is so bad. You can't say. You can't tell me if it had 0
I mean, it
activation
could
time.
be
He
it
worse.
would
is
be
throwing
good.
a dog. He's throwing. You guys ever try to hit a dog? Oh, I
He
see.
kills nearly
Not a
nothing
dog.
with it.
You ever try and hit a dog port? I think you want to choose your next words carefully.
You guys ever try to throw a dog across somewhere? It doesn't go far. I can
No, my
imagine.
name's,
Oh,
my name's
no,
not,
no,
my
no,
name's
you
not
see.
Alinity.
You see, Twice on
That's
fire
why your
doing
dog always
that.
tries.
Less wind resistant if he's
quarterback.
on fire.
Listen, my
Quarterback,
dog.
is that why your dog always tries to have revenge at you? You try to just throw her a Oobleck did?
Listen,
Recreate the Oobleck scene.
my dog. He's a very well. Let's just say that he plays Lancer Swarm. All right.
Oh, so he's a Chad.
You mean he deserved it?
And
Oh man.
Speaking of Lancer Swarm, my Lancers are waiting in my in my game in the staging area, waiting for the new area meta to come into play. I'm telling you, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, sure. Also, Sun will get 20 more baths. Yeah, I also have dreams and ambitions. But we are nearing question and answer time. So, someone who didn't talk that much, quarterback. What do you think about the meta? How do you feel about it? And yeah, generally.
Okay. So I think that generally, getting buffs to underplayed cards is good, right? I don't know why they buffed Glenda, and I hate fighting against that kind of deck. Probably because just like what was it, like 2 weeks ago I played against 155 and I was using a meme deck and he had his unkillable Glendas, and that maybe that left a bad taste in my mouth for that kind of deck.
That moment when you get outwailed.
Oh, this sucks.
Man,
This is what I've been doing to people.
there are like 3 people have higher levels than me. It's no fun. That's precious, my friend. That's precious. Yeah, no, I see that if you go on the highest level, like T said, Glinda is not a card that's a big problem on the highest level. What I can see is that if you go like just ladder having fun, Glinda is not fun anymore to play it.
I'm sitting there. I'm grinding. oh, I'll play for fun, and then I'm actually playing for fame. But I'm like, oh yeah, I'll try out this, this like a, this fun deck, and then first game it's Carmine Beam Term. Like, okay, well, I guess fun isn't happening today.
Central Texas is renowned for its
No.
beauty
Yeah.
and quality of life.
I think actually I want to rant a bit on the changes. Like for example, do you guys remember the Boundless John change?
Yeah, but
How can
just
it work?
as an aside, please, quick, because we want to do a
Yeah,
question.
yeah.
and-
I just
yeah.
wanted to mention that
Yeah.
like Boundless John buff made him incredibly OP. So there is no arguing about that. It just made the game fun to play, at least for me, because we were heading to a very strict chip meta. Released AoE cards just made it hard to push. With, I mean, there was still Ice Flower, but there was also Tyrion and Port, and it all made trying to engage your opponent directly just suck. You're almost always guaranteed to have a bad trade.
I would agree
Was
that it made more
broken as
fun.
hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you could out-heal those AoE cards and make a push within Oral Elite work. Maybe they overdid it. And 3 to 4 Oral Elite started to end up as a snowball that you couldn't stop it much. But it made the game fun at least. Like right now we are back to the situation where as 4 Oral Elite doesn't mean much. You cannot push into it, you cannot do damage with it. You can try to outchip your opponent, and we are kind of back to the cheap meta with uninterruptible cheap.
I think the problem with Bottles Sean for me was only Shadow Blake. You could say maybe make Bondless John heal instant instead of over time would be a nerf for him, or I don't. In most cases, not all. But I think the problem there was why I had less fun with this meta after a few days was that I didn't like I don't like Shadow Blake.
Yeah, but you
You-
could
Yeah, she's
still
really
use
good.
him with Sport, Cinder, I don't know, whatever. And
He
there's
was
even before Elysian Beam Truth and stuff, like partners in crime still were putting a big limiter on how many Blakes you could get and so on. Like
Yeah, I
it wasn't.
already tweeted the devs, by the way, that they should take away the time limit from the Sun clones and just make it the damage over time stays the same, but no max time limit. They answered me saying that's a very specific change you want to make, and they didn't say no. So there's still hope.
Why even stop there, Cheryl? Just make Sun one hit everything.
So
No,
then
just give 'em
Mortless
infinite
Dawn would be
clones.
fun for me. Believe me, that would be fun for me if my clones did have a max time limit. But I would go to question answers right now, if that's fine with you guys.
Yes, let's do that.
I
Yes,
have one.
let's.
I have one right here, by the way. One's already ready for me. Speaking of shopkeep from before, that was when the question came in. Clash Royale has a mechanic that doesn't allow shopkeep quotation marks to be able to start in your opening hand, so they don't get early advantage in case you can't draw a counter to it fast enough. What do you guys think about doing this with AA shop?
It's
Who
not
Okay,
wants
that
to
I'm
big
take
of a
probably
problem.
yeah. I probably use the shop the most right now. So right now shop is pretty dead. Since I mean Carmine runs Penny.
Yeah,
End of
but
story.
it's just this specific
But
change. There's a question.
he shop doesn't kick in fast enough to, so you can't like cycle to your go buy your favorite card to counter it. Part the second part is that shop placed initially at the opening of the match is currently, thanks to Boundless John, is still vulnerable. You can rush it. Draw like the worst possible starting rotation, but in any matchup against any card, like I don't know, did anyone ever lose a game because someone flower or Biopec Ice Flower and you didn't have your answer in the first 6 cards?
Yep, all the time.
So
Most of the times I can recover. If I play
how
on
can
my
you
main
against the
account.
shop? I mean, so can you against the shop? Maybe you couldn't cheap it, or in like the shop played and getting away with it is not the end of story because it's a 2 or elite. overbank
like
that force
sometimes
them
I can
to
just
go forward.
sometimes I
Yeah,
just
like
burger my way through shopkeep. Like sometimes people play shopkeep. I'm like, I don't have crow and I don't have cinder. So you know what? Well, I'm just gonna play super efficiently and I'll just play super defensively. Play my cards
yeah,
efficiently and wait for the shopkeep to kind of time out and then go on the attack.
yeah.
Yeah, well, but
Best
most
case scenario
people,
for shopkeep.
yeah. If I
Okay.
play shopkeep, I play shopkeep a bit right now. Which before the last page, I played shopkeep quite a lot, to be honest. If I play shopkeep and the enemy just wants to wait it out, I play another shopkeep. If the enemy still waits, I play another shopkeep. At some point, I have enough shopkeeps that I was like, okay, I want like 3, 4 shopkeeps, and then I kill the enemy. That's how I played. I mean, there are some people that can play against it and force me to play differently or counter it, right? But waiting out
Generally,
shot,
two is enough. Generally, two shopkeeps is enough. But yeah, I mean, shopkeeps means the opponent needs to have a very good punishing deck that will always win a mid fight and will kill you if you try to put shopkeep without a lead. So that's one option. Second option is the enemy needs to have their own form of error banking that can put up an unstoppable push like Bering or Torch or something. But shopkeep kind of counters that. But mostly shopkeep means that enemy needs to have a global AoE to achieve it, like Zwei or Penny. Or Cinder that shoots it for 2 orange that gets value with her auto attack. So like best case scenario for shopkeep is you place it, they don't have the deck to rush it, they don't have a card to, and they, for example, place something like a Shadow Blake. Blaze
hmm,
goes in and you just sit there, you spend 6 ore on shopkeep, you don't need to place anything. That means Blake got to your turret. Defensive Blakes, and we all know how it goes. Defensive Blake always wins. So you got like a 2 ore lead from shopkeep and you got a Blake for free.
yeah.
Not enough
I
to
mean,
kill them. If they play defensively after that, that's not enough to kill them. You go for another shopkeep to solidify your lead and they throw Zwei at it or Penny because by that time they got. Maybe they will take a bit of damage, maybe they spend like minute and a half playing from behind, but I find it perfectly acceptable. Bad rotation against a good rotation situation, because I mean, if we talk Blake Bundles Jones mirror match, had a bad rotation, had to play Snow on BDS and Ravagers first, just can lose the match right there immediately.
to the question, I think it's again like a philosophy on how the game should be. If you make shopkeep never start in the starting hand, you make the game more consistent, but at the same time, it's kind of unfair to do that just to one card. But because there are other cards that do the same thing, they give you an advantage early if you make it correctly, right? So you would need, in my opinion, if you start that, you go down a slippery road where you need to start maybe do it to more and more cards, and at some point it's like, wow, what do we do now? Maybe that's just. I would
Clarify.
be.
I want to clarify what Return of Beans wrote in the chat is that the way the game is set up, it's easy to defend a punish for playing shopkeep with low Legion Bean turret, Neon, and so on. That's quite true, but the problem with shopkeep is deck building issue. You want your shopkeep, you want cards that will help you defend the push, and then you want to transition your shopkeep into elite somehow. And the problem generally is that you don't have cards, both defense and offense, that aren't Shadow Blake and Ice Flower. Just in general. Well,
All
I
right,
mean,
do you think
Port
we
can
should
do it,
move
but
on to
he's
the next
blocked.
question?
Yeah. No, I'll finish really quickly. So, the thing is, you run out of room to place good cards in your deck, and you your to overlead from shopkeep to use Penny to chip the turret or something instead of making that big unstoppable killing push.
So yeah, thank you, Beans, for the question. The next question, I'm not gonna say who wrote it because you can most likely guess who wrote it. Can the quarterback please play more Sun?
I wish I could use Discord emotes in real life. Uh, I'm not as all right. Listen, I'm never gonna be a Sun main. That's more of Sharrow's expertise. But if people want to see me play more Sun, then I can just play more Sun. Although they could just watch Sharrow's streams to see competent Sun plays.
Okay. Thank you, Sharo, for the question. What? Shardana asks, do you think that Raven needs iframes for ability to work effectively to escape cards like Ice Flower, or is there an alternative to that?
Hmm.
Isn't the drop time now really fast in activation time? So if you mess it up, Ice Flower is already on the field ahead of Raven if you play it at the same time you're safe? Isn't that the case?
Didn't run enough tests on that. I think. Like, wait, what was Ice Flower deployment time?
1 second.
Yeah, so Ice Flower needs to be like already on the field. But I mean, it's problematic because they can like deploy Ice Flower in a position where teleport. You can kind of teleport right now, but your units didn't walk forward enough yet, so you don't get your skill recharges. Like a semi-useless Ice Flower, but they can kind of push with it.
Yeah.
So you deploy your Raven ahead of the time, you are kind of screwed.
Yeah, I wish I can give some input on this, but unfortunately, the game doesn't like me, and I don't have Raven either.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't have
mean,
Raven
one of
either.
the issues is you need to like quickly go back and drop something in the back so you can have something to teleport to, and then you need to activate teleport, and then like 1 second passes, and it's a lot of things to do in reaction to a Ice Lava deploying like in your face. It's pretty hard to manage in time. And against partners in crime, they can be like deployed reactively to Raven. For example, you have your Glinda stack at the bridge, then you drop Raven and immediately activate teleport, and they just after you started dropping Raven, they deploy partners in crime and grab your Raven. That.
Was that your final answer?
Yeah.
CVT? Because I can't give too much input into it because I don't have Raven.
Ugh,
I
and I
only
don't use
played
her
against
enough.
it. Potterback, you're inside. You're one of the few people I've seen play Raven.
Well, like I don't play her enough to to give any input. I wish I could, but I do not play her anywhere near enough. I play, like I said, I play her like 3 times,
Yeah.
and
Yes, yes, the
she's
problem
not for
is
me.
the only one competent to answer this question is CRT, I guess, and he said his piece, so I would move on. Question
Raven.
from. No, go.
Yeah, I
Yeah?
just want to say Raven is great unit if your opponent doesn't run Ice Flower or partners in crime, but everyone runs them, so good luck.
Good luck. Good luck is the answer. So, from Shadow, what card represents the power level that they should balance other cards to? That's quite easy, Sun, right? That's the only option.
I was
Um,
thinking of this, and I think Crow, I think, is probably what we should like
No,
balance cards to.
no, don't balance Crow. Does not fit in the game from his balancing states. His stats are broken. His ability is kind of broken because he also has his AoE both together. Kind of silly that he's an overstack unit that can't be interrupted for the first hit unless you charge him in front time with Winter. He's not the card you can balance to because he himself is not balanced. The only reason you don't see him is because the meta doesn't allow for him to play it because you don't want ship right now as much as you did before as
No,
a safe
I'd
ship.
say that the only reason we don't see him is because Adam is doing more direct damage to the turret than Crow does.
But Crow can get to the
So if
turret
you
every
wanted to run
time
something
without.
with your cancer, if you wanted to, and he like Adam is gonna kill body block at Nolans and stuff faster than Crow does. It's like uh, Crow would be better than Adam if Adam didn't like have a beam turret behind him. Just Adam performs in that role better. But Crow is still great. He's still gonna do guaranteed chip damage, and he's still expensive to counter.
Yeah,
Like
definitely.
if
I
you
don't.
can
I don't
see
think you
our
would
revenue,
balance Crow. If which card would be in the middle, like really in the middle of the pack? Would you, or maybe you,
I
you
mean,
don't need to balance to the middle. You can balance to
Blake.
the best or the worst.
Obviously, it is Shadow Blade.
Shadow Blake is your middle point. There was where you want to balance to.
You see, you guys think Shadow Blake is what we should like, kind of like the
Yeah,
do it
I
around?
mean,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. I'm
Looks
thinking
like
Shadow Blade too.
Okay, Sun will get a lot of buffs still. I see. Good job. I think Shadow Blake is way too strong.
I mean,
With-
she
with-
is, but like some games are good with like a lot of strong cards. Look, my
Yeah,
favorite game
if you
ever.
make every
And
other
no,
card as strong as Shadow Black, I agree.
like look at
I mean,
Modern Warfare 2. You can't call something broken
I
if
was-
everything is broken.
I was just gonna say that drifted. I was literally thinking that.
Yep.
I
Okay.
guess I can go back to the tier list thing. Like, if you have described tier list as S plus, S, A, and F cards, then we need to at least like bring F level cards to A. That would be my middle ground, and A is like a torch week right now.
Okay. So Porterback,
Oh,
which card
giant
would you buy links to?
I'm thinking, like I said, like CRVT said, Shadow Blake would probably be the best option because she's so good. Yeah, it'd be nice to have all their cards up to her level.
So all you three guys say Shadow Blake?
I
Yeah?
said Crow, but
I know you said Crow, right? You're sticking with Crow?
I'm sticking with Crow. I
You
think
guys,
I
you
think
guys
he's
power, you guys power creep more than the Elysium beam turret. I'm gonna stick with Sun because I stick with my boy.
all right.
Right?
Next question.
It's about even. We have 2 Blakes, there are 2 Shadows, and oh damn it, Sun is summoning 4 clones, so we outvoted 5 to
Yeah,
4.
right. I win. Sun is more
Switch to
people.
Crow to Blake and we will have 6.
It's 5. That's 5 versus 4 and 1. I win. Dr. Pepper J23 asks, what do you think about the new update?
Oh boy. Oh
Uh,
boy.
In one word, trash.
Yeah, let's wait. This is how we got because we spoke a lot about it. You can, if you missed it, you can watch the VOD or probably it will be on YouTube, I guess. Let's rate it from 1 to 10, I guess.
4.
A lot of hits and misses all over the place.
No, 1 to 10 CRVT?
Yeah, 6. Okay,
6,
maybe
okay.
5. Like,
5, 6, okay. Quarterback?
6.
6? Okay.
6, but what did it do to Adam and White Fang Lieutenant?
Yeah, I don't.
Don't get me started. Oh, don't get me started.
I give it a solid, let's say 7. At least I did more than other patch.
So we're gonna say it was an average patch. I say it's bad. Charo says it's a bit better than average. So
Yeah.
we'll just say it's an average patch.
I mean, there were more than like 1 or 2 changes, which is good. It didn't add another beam turret, which is good. But it's like not great. There are
It-
some missteps with it.
It made it possible for me to win with Summoner Wise as win condition. Made me happy.
All right,
Uh,
next question.
You want a friendly?
Unprecedented Studios asks. People have discussed that Adam is basically now just a single target killer that kills BDS and Emerald Swarms. But is that role really relevant in current day? Quarterback, let's go.
Okay. No.
Can you elaborate?
Okay, so there's probably about like 3 people, at least on the level that we play that play Emerald, and Adam he just kills the swarms and not the stuff that Emerald copied. So like if you copy like the thug or a squad, right? He's gonna jump into the squad and he's gonna take some damage, and then you usually have to dash back out and do his second ability. He doesn't have a lot of health after that, which is that's a thing. But just use Winter, I think, at least on ladder.
Yeah,
Okay, drifted.
I've taken Adam out of my deck.
Traitor.
I've just replaced him with Crow. I don't even think Crow's a great replacement for him. But I'm just kind of. I haven't even played that much since the last patch because I really haven't been a fan of it at all. But
Okay.
I don't think
Same.
Adam is.
I think more tests are needed to decide just how much exactly spam is dead. Like maybe I don't need any AoE clear anymore at all.
I thought the same.
BDS will just hold it off. So, but Adam is staying in my cancer beam deck because he does crazy damage to the turret.
I after this patch, a lot of people say Adam is bad, which made me think maybe I should play Adam.
Oh boy.
I played him when he released, and everyone said he's OP, and I said no, he's kind of balanced. He's really strong, but kind of balanced. And everyone said I'm wrong. Now everyone's crying he's too bad after the nerf, so I was kind of right. But now that no one says he's OP anymore, I feel more compelled to play him.
Hmm.
I would move on to the next question. Blood Raven asked, possibly Raven meta? Yes? No? Why? I say we kind of had this discussion earlier, so maybe quick fire answer. From CRVT first, maybe.
I already said partners in crime. No.
Partners in
You
crime.
got you call 3 hour and it's a single unit. You resync your card. We do not allow it in this game.
Drifted, quick fire.
I want a Raven meta so bad you have no idea. I think that there's potential for people to play her. Maybe not at the top level of plays, but I definitely think that you can definitely get away with, like, if you learn how to play Raven, you can play her in Arena 9 and do well. So
I
is that
think that if you
meta no, but playable yes.
a lot of planning and deck building to get away with Raven banking, even if they don't run partners in crime. So I think like the less skill you have, the less useful she is.
Okay. Well, Potterbeck will obviously say yes because it's his favorite card to play.
I honestly think, well, not now, but eventually, sure. I think we might be building up to some sort of Raven meta, like three months down the line.
Maybe.
I get what you mean. You say I will get her in 3 months and then play her with Sun and create a totally new meta, right?
Jesus Christ.
Good. Yeah. No, my name is Sharo. Next question from Early Biff. What is the number one change the devs could make to increase the longevity of Amity Arena? Ooh, it's a toughie. Any volunteers?
There's a lot of changes. Like, I think the problem with longevity is that with time, like, not even whales, just people that play daily are just gonna be seen as whales. So it just you kind of
Well,
there needs to be like a buy. There's too much of a like a paywall, and the longer the game is out, and people just get crates normally, it's just gonna increase that gap. So I don't know if there is like a single change to increase its lifespan. I think this game has a year before it's basically unplayable for new players.
I don't know. I see three main issues right now, and also for the foreseeing time in the future. I don't know which one to pick between them. But first is line acquisition rate could be 5 times higher and not be enough. So the second
True.
is rarity disparity between over-level commons, low-level epics, and so on. Is obviously the trophy system with ladder and how there are sandbaggings. There is no incentive to rank up. There are long quiet times and stuff like that. So addressing any one of them would be very good right now. Even like balancing just those three.
I would go totally wild from you guys, by the way. What I would do is we have this normal. I would first for fame. It's kind of gone at some point. You're gonna in my world, you rank up to a certain point, which you can reach with not over level cards over time. You don't need even that long to get enough card levels to get there. But then you get to the point where once you're there, you can't drop below it. Let's say in Arena 9 is a line you can't go below. And then every, let's say, week or 2 weeks, I don't know how long I would make it. It's like, or maybe we make it something where it's like a season where you really can play competitive with a limited amount of games where everyone has same level cards.
So a challenge mode pretty much.
A challenge mode. But to make people still pay money, and you still need to get the card, play it. So if you don't have the legendary, still out of luck, you can still complain about that. And it's kind of limited about how much you can play it to make you forced to play normal queues to maybe make you to spend money. But the incentive is this competitive mode.
Game. I mean, it would be good for the game. I don't know if it would be good for business, but yeah.
Yeah. Porterbeck, anything to add?
I actually agree with what you said, Sharo. I think that sounds like a good idea. But more Lien to level up your units would always be nice because I know it's really rough right now for free to players.
Yeah.
It's not even just free to players. Like even me, like I'm not free to play yet. I don't have Leanne to level up like any of my stuff.
I
I,
mean,
I think
I
it's not even that the problem is not even money. As CRVT said, like there are people who complain about other people being whales who have never spent money. They just played long enough.
That's what I
yeah.
was saying earlier about my problem, like with the game, is that even with time, even free to players are
It
just
was
gonna
you,
play
right? My bad.
whales. Yeah. And
My
anyway, I
bad.
think we should move on to the next question.
Yeah. That Morph guy. Would you be interested in collaboration events with other games, animes for Ruby AA? If so, what would you want to see? Like we get other units and animes character in our game. I mean, that would be cool. I don't know if you noticed my avatar, but it's Lelouch Britannia, phone code Gears, also known as Zero. Really like that guy, but I think it's unlikely. It's unlikely. There's some franchises that maybe could work with. I would find it cool with certain franchises, but I think it's
Maybe with Genlock.
and didn't watch that. Watched first episode, got bored.
It's called
Oh,
Paladin.
if we can get I think I'd be happy enough we can get a Gears of War crossover. That'd be great. More
Just another
chainsaws for
chainsaw guy.
everybody.
Let's get there's this Dragon Ball Z, I think it's called. We got Son Goku, I think it is. Then there was this one fighting anime. There was a monkey god, a really cool character. You get my point. You get my point. What I'm saying here.
Yes.
Okay, Serity, do you have an opinion
Okay.
on that?
It might be known, but I'm kind of against any new card addition just because I like the meta to settle and be developed more and not change strategies just as you start to figure them out. But that's obviously not going to happen. If they need to keep adding more cards, they care what they are.
You don't care.
Just some sort of collaboration. I'm not too hype about the characters in the first place, so yeah.
Okay. So everyone sets a piece?
Yeah, I didn't, but I'm basically saying the same thing as CRVT. I don't like how many cards are in this being pumped in the game. I don't like changing strategies this often, but yeah, I basically just CRVT.
Maybe like slow it down to once a month. I don't know, and more balance patches instead.
Well, it doesn't
But-
necessarily have to be cards. It could be just like skins or whatever
Yeah.
True.
for a
Yeah.
crossover event.
Yeah, I mean,
I am all for skins. Like, if it's, I don't know, a change that doesn't affect gameplay directly, I would be happy to see anything.
yeah.
Next question.
Okay. Early Biff. What low tier units is the closest to being competitive viable? What changes would be required to make it so? Dufted, because I skipped you last time. Go first.
Low tier card, the closest to being viable. I'd say Roy is a good one, and what would be required is a rework of levels. Like, cause he's good in ladder if you have like level 12, 13, especially in this meta. But in tournament levels, level 9, he just dies instantly and does no damage. But that would require, like I said, an entire rework of levels and another low tier that competitively viable. Yeah, I think that's about it. Like I was gonna say Palm Grenade, but no.
Okay, CVT, why not you?
I think like Ren, Nora. They're decent card right now that have like some very niche roles. Then buffs
Okay.
across the board, maybe bringing Nora to 3 aura could make them more useful and actually help with the current meta. Because like pass defense. If you notice that Nora and Ren are both very offensive cards. I
Make
just see
Ren. Make Ren's ability one-shot structure cards. Not Ren, Nora's. One-shot structure cards is her special
Ren
thing.
could use his charge to modify it, like to go on faster and I don't know, not hit nothing against the Shadow Blade clone. But
maybe
Nora could use a cost reduction or HP buff, something like that. Just the offensive cards, they are already pretty decent. They could be better and more useful. Yeah.
okay. Quarterback.
Mercury. You get Mercury in here, and then you make him. You make his. He doesn't take a half hour to shoot all those bullets.
Okay.
I actually want to say Nora real quick. Like I think Nora actually might have good chance of being competitive too. Now that I think about it, because she doesn't suffer the same problem that a lot of melee units do. Is that her auto attacks do AOE.
Yeah, but partners in crime.
That is true, but we should also just delete him like Neon Cat and Wall and Beam Turret and
Yeah, yeah. Pretty much.
I would say my answer, by the way, is Bumblebee if she did more damage to turrets.
yeah, her damage reduction is brutal.
Yeah, it's way too low. And
Especially
she's
with
even
attack
Way
speed.
too much.
you can't even counter her with Neon, and I don't know, but yeah, it would be fine if she did more damage to the turret, in my
Then
opinion.
she would be a better crow, almost. Almost.
Yeah, but they still have a little bit of differentiation in what they do.
Yes. That's why I said almost.
Yeah, donut holes. With all the patches we've gone through so far, which one was the most impactful to the meta at the time of its introduction?
Neon, 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 neon. When neon came out, that changed everything.
On that day, Porterback's world got turned upside down.
Oh, you don't even know, because that was also the introduction of Disco Ursa. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. That would be my close second, but the first one I give to. I think it was a season release, but pretty much when they changed the sudden death duration.
Yeah, I remember that. Was when it was only 1 minute, I had a lot of draws, and after that,
Yeah,
it's really rare.
Draw. Yeah, that one, hands down.
I would agree with you too. I would agree. Yeah, Drifted.
I haven't been playing that long. I started in April, or very, very late February, so I only got a tiny bit of artillery, but all I've really known is Crow and the Boneless and now Beam Turret. So the biggest impactful one for me was the buff to Boundless, because that kind of completely threw the game upside down. Crow chip meta kind of completely went out the door as soon as that patch came out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty big.
would definitely agree.
Oh yeah, and 3 Aura Cinder, yeah, that was good too.
I mean, she was with Y almost immediately, so you just threw Doc at the senior, and they were the best pairing ever.
Yeah. Wasn't it like Cinder first and then Swy next week?
Something like that.
Yeah, or other way around. But I think they were back to back to each other. Like 1 week, there's the next week the other.
Was pretty
Uh,
decent to Antonio.
Okay. Early Biff asks, what kind of unit could the dev introduce that would shake up the metagame the most?
Beam Turret.
I think it'd be
Negative beam turret.
a turret that not a turret. Jesus, you guys got me on a unit that couldn't be taunted and can't be stunned.
You won't believe me, but that's the turret you are describing.
Well, no, shut up. I like a non-turret,
Turret with wheels that
What
can
the
move.
turret
a
on
non-structure that can like if we had I don't know like a maybe some sort of maybe not like a sergeant, but maybe something not
Like a
quite a
lieutenant.
general. Maybe around that ballpark that can't be taunted. That I think that'd be
Stunned or frozen?
yeah, that no, it can't be affected by status effects.
Yet he
Yeah.
also ignores BDS and also ignore Void Fang units and also ignores no. I don't think that will happen.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
That would do it. That would shake up.
If he ignores everything except that, let's say he's an Ursa who can't be stunned or frozen. Yeah.
I mean, you are half describing like a crow. With a lot of his duration.
What would change the meta the most? I don't know. Something that's so strong that nothing else compares to it. A laser beam you can control with your finger, and no, a unit you can control with your finger, and you can has an ability where you can really play it like Battle of Beacon. That would be a unit that would change the metagame the most.
I would just answer something that can strong enough offensive specialization unit that can be used as a win condition when you have a 4 aura late to do like 1000 turret damage. if we have anything at all like that, meta will be shaken up and quite healthy.
Yeah, or the Passy card where every ability is can't be used while this card is on the field, and which means
I
Shadow
don't
Blade
like
can't use it.
I don't like anti-fun cards in general. Like the
Yeah, yeah,
original
but the
anti-fun
question
cards
was
were
what would change the meta game the most? I think that would do the trick.
I don't know.
Drifted, anything you wanna say
One
to
aura
that?
cards like one aura cards would like to have a talk with such a card.
True.
I'm not creative enough to say that. Like I said beam turret because that really did shake the
Yeah.
meta up, especially at us our top level plays. It's really annoying to play against, so I think that I'm just gonna say that because I'm not creative to think about a new character.
Okay. Okay. Malfunction asked, with the current track record of one big monthly balance patch and new cards being released every week, do you guys think that the developers should maintain the current status quo or should it be switched up? If it should be switched up, how so? Personally, I believe the balance of the game is an absolute mess and needs to be seriously reviewed before additional things are added to the game. I'd rather play for a fun and balanced game instead of getting shiny new cards every week. Thoughts? Yep, I kinda agree.
Mhm.
Make it so that maybe slow it down first, not make it too drastic, because now we are used every week a new card. Make it like for 2, 3 cycles or whatever, every 2 weeks a card, and then you make it every 3 weeks, and then you make it every month. I don't know, something like that to slow it down slowly and not mess with the people. And then after that, I would say patch the game more often or make the patches in the months bigger. But I would be for like a patch every 2 weeks, and you have more micromanagement possibilities to swap it up faster.
I think that no matter what the devs do, this game's gonna be in shambles because they bounce the game based off of like normal like people that aren't us as in like us top players because we are a very small minority of the Amity Arena like player base, and there's really no reason to balance the game around us, which it really matters because people in Arena 7, the meta doesn't really matter to them. So there's no reason to balance around us when we're not the big income, we're not a big force. This game's not super competitive, it's not an esport. There's no real
We're not
reason
the
for them
big
to balance.
income. I
You're
would I would
talking
wager
to
that
a big group of
Wales.
whales.
I
Yeah.
would wager we Wales as the top 200 are worth more than everyone else.
Uh, yeah, maybe, but they're a lot of the whales, like big whales, like let's say 155. He might be an Arena 7 player, like skill wise, but here he is. We don't know
I
that.
don't know. He's not that bad, but you can balance for us since he's up here. He won't even care what the meta is. He
Well, I'm
can
not
play
saying that.
everything
No,
because
I'm
he
just
got the
saying
cards.
it's never going to be perfect. It's never going to be like
Yeah,
as
yeah,
good
yeah.
as it should be because of those reasons.
Not sure what arena is generally gets balanced for overall, and overall I'm just way more pessimistic. Like, this situation is salvageable with, I don't know, quicker updates or more updates because over half the existing cars are F tier, pretty much completely unusable. And I don't believe a balance patch where they address 40 cards and buff them is something that can realistically happen. I just don't see it happening. So instead, we get the balances via addition of new cards, and I imagine new cards need to be released according to plan, their speed, just to acquire the most revenue. Just don't
Hmm.
see it getting fixed. I mean the really unused cards might as well be removed from the game. I'm just sad for the free-to-play players who arenas don't know what's good, what's not, and overinvest into their cards, such as BDS, cannot realistically use in the higher arenas
Son
to a good
before he got
effect.
any buff at all, like
The
I
main
did.
problem I see is that line acquisition rate is terrible, and they cannot switch their deck easily,
Yeah.
and bad cards while the balance is being fixed by the release of new cards for the most part. Like we get those 5 changes or something once a month. Cards, they half of them are off the mark. Not all of them address the worst cards, like we get as much nerfs as buffs in general.
Yeah, but
Obviously,
more Leon acquisition would fix a lot of that.
I mean, if there was more line acquisitions, that people could drop the terrible cards faster, and maybe the dev team would see the statistics of usage just drop for the really bad cards, at least. Right now, I
It's,
feel like people just are stuck with what they have, and
as
that's why they still play.
by the way, in theory, we are now overtime. We have a lot of questions left, so maybe I don't want to hold everyone up. If I don't know how long we want to make it overtime, but we can quick fire some more questions. I think this
Yes.
topic, yeah. If
Do
anyone
you,
else
do
want
you
to
want
say
to
something?
answer that, Port? Yeah. Do you want to say anything to that?
Well, I know that they release these cards weekly, because it generates extra income. But I don't know. Goddamn, let's let the meta settle for a week or two before we get more stuff. So it's getting a little crazy now. It's hard to keep up.
I mean, it's always been like that. It's just sometimes the
Yeah.
cards matter, and sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
That's it.
No one
So
cared.
sometimes the new card is so bad that like it's not good either.
Yeah, it's the only problem is if this card is loved, would be no one cared for Queen. Queen was bad, was okay. Sumner Wise is bad. People like her. That's a big problem. But if a
Alright.
card is bad and not well liked, doesn't matter. Now we go through. Cereza Ivy asked Crow and Winter Legendary card when? Just after Junior Detectives. I already talked with the devs about that. Yeah.
In December, I would be my guess.
December. So November Junior Detectives. You heard it here first.
Who's the
Uh,
base unit? Who's the base unit for Crow and Winter? Like the
Crow, because
pairing card? Yeah.
it
No,
better
no,
be
it's
Crow.
winter. You use your ability somewhere, and then you don't need to target an enemy because Crow teleports there, and Winter rushes the Crow there, and then Winter reaches his position and does whatever, some
Yeah,
special move.
but I want Crow commanding Winter because
Crow
Yeah,
would
he
help him
does
fly
in a
better.
way.
There you go.
All right, next question. Return of
Return
Beans.
of Beans. Do you think Elysian Beam to it should be nerfed?
Yes.
Go.
Yes.
I think it should be shot in the head
I don't know what answer you
with a
expected.
shotgun.
Uh, yes, no one likes it. It can go home. It's drunk. Upton Brady asks, what is your favorite meme card? I'm gonna count Sun.
Palm grenade.
It's not a meme card.
Palm grenade?
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
can work sometimes.
yeah, it can work, but it's not great. I mean,
He lets Sun fly, but not Palm.
yeah, right. Like you're gonna go on me on palm grenade, but you're gonna let Sun fly, or like,
Look, bef-
or Port's level 13 White Fang Lieutenant. Oh my.
if Sun wouldn't be an answer, I would say Oobleck, by the way. But whatever. Sun seems to be okay.
What's your
War,
favorite meme card,
probably.
CRVT? Because you're like the only one
War
that we actually don't know.
memes, but I think like Emerald. Okay, I was joking.
Okay,
But
good.
war.
All right. Next question. Because unless Port, yeah, is White Fang Lieutenant not your meme card?
First of all, that's implying he's a meme to begin with, all right? And I take offense to that. Okay? I would find that very offensive.
And
Good.
second of all, it's Void Fang Lieutenant, right?
Yeah, exactly. Arrogance.
All right. Next question.
Rapids Lurker 15. If you were given the choice to add a single card to the game and it would be guaranteed to be added to the game, which card would you have choose and what ability would it have? Junior Detectives is a really great idea. I think I never spoke about that. It's like a sun base unit using his clones, electroshocks from Neptune protecting him while he uses his clones, and then, so he can't be cancelled or killed in this time. And then electrified sun clones are running around stunning enemies and doing the damage.
I'd go for a Crow legendary, like more like a longsword kind of Crow. I don't know what its active would be or whatever, but that's what I would pick, a Crow Legendary.
Any offensive card, like anything, it might be Sun for all I care, anything that works when you have a lead.
Yes, come to the sun side.
Okay. Any of you ever played Resident Evil 4?
I think so.
There,
Let
there
me
was
Google it.
there was a character in the Mercenaries mode. He was really big and he had a big ass. Excuse me. He had a big chainsaw, right?
Yeah.
That there needs to be a White Fang Lieutenant epic, but he has a double bladed chainsaw, right? It's two, and it's on fire, and he has a fast movement speed, and all he does is cleave. He just attacks while he's moving forward. That's
And then we
that.
play Star Wars music from the for the prequel first episode fight at the end, right?
Yeah, so
Exactly. He
so
just
What
stop
would
wielding
his rank
both.
be? Like, what would his rank be?
mm,
Tenant, he's clearly higher.
he epic, at least legendary. I don't care.
Okay.
Yes.
Frozen Battle asks, how do you feel about defense decks and NHN just buffing Glinda in response?
Hate it.
Defensive decks? Oh.
Isn't Glinda
I
a
need some time to think
defensive
about
deck?
this.
Yeah, but as an offensive aggressive player, I don't like it.
I guess Glinda is an offensive defensive card.
Yeah,
But
she
it's not an
starts
offense.
defense and then well,
Yeah, Glinda was traditionally a defense that you cannot trade positively into the transitions into a counter push with a recharge and probably like AK support or something. And right now it genuinely doesn't work because you cannot low enough, and she's still not strong enough to like do good damage into beam
Breakthrough.
turret.
Okay.
Power card, which, yeah.
Everyone said their piece? Someone want to say more?
We're good. I don't have anything to say to that, really.
Yeah.
Okay. Toga probably asks, Port, my dude, my paw. When you gonna realize Adam is bad and switch to winter? Yeah, it sounds like
No.
it, right?
no,
Toga.
no. All right, okay. Listen, I said this before, right? I said this in my videos before. I love Adam, right? He's really cool, and I will use him even if he damaged my turrets. So I'm never switching off from Adam. You, Toga, are a dirty backstabbing traitor, and you need to go back to using Adam because this is the moment where Adam needs us the most.
Ignore that White Fang Lieutenant is not in his deck, by the way.
Shush.
Yeah, that's why I said to ignore it. I'm on your side.
Next question, which is also for Port.
7239 asks, more for Porter, but can you hear everyone's opinion? How has the appearance and successful use of White Fang Lieutenant in competitive tournaments affect everyone's thought on how this could take a spin on the current meta? Right, it's because Servo used White Fang Lieutenant last tournament.
I did see that, and I was freaking out.
And then he switched to Adam because my family then wasn't doing it.
The
Yeah,
fact that it was still used and Servo 1 was good enough for me.
Okay.
I just
So
want
I
to
get
say I
word.
called it.
Yeah, you called it. Yeah. Okay. I got word we should probably start wrapping up. So we hit a lot of stuff here. We hit a lot of stuff we at least some persons wanted to go more into in this topic or in this topic. So we can see it could be warranted for another podcast, I think. So if we want to do shoutouts like CRVT can start and Drift to Quarterback, I say my stuff like where we can find people and if they want to see it by or whatever. CRVT.
Yes.
shout out to Rain, who I'm playing right now.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
Take over the raid. He's busy. Do it.
All right. Please buff Palm Grenade, remove Partners in Crime, and drop me a follow on Twitch TV/Drifted with 2 S's on the end.
Would have been on my overlay.
Yes.
Quarterback.
Shout out to the White Fang. White Fang will rise up again. We're going to take down the humans. And make sure, if you're not already in the Amity Arena Discord, that you join it, because there's a lot of great people there.
Also, yeah, for the Discord channel making advertising. I'm Cheryl. If you wanna follow me, you should, because I'm a Faunus fan. I welcome anyone to the Faunus army. You can follow me on Twitter, which is @CherylBurn. Row together, no space or anything. You can also follow me on Twitch. It's CherylBurn. And you can follow me on YouTube. That's just Cheryl, because I could take the name Cheryl there and then didn't need to add anything to it. But thank you for watching. Thank you to Woblins and Shadow working behind. Thank you to CLT, Potterback, and Drifted for coming here. Speaking of, thank you for everyone watching. Thank you for everyone asking questions. Thank you to the chat, and I think we can finish this up. Love you all.
It was pretty fun. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Time to go eat food.
No.
And as usual, if you wish to support the stream directly, make sure you hit that follow button. And we have a donation button below, but those go directly to the monthly tournaments hosted by the Majesty Academy, which I'm sure chat knows about. The next tournament is in the works, last I heard, so look out for that soon. And the next podcast is due in 2 weeks, as we are now on a direct schedule. So we'll see you then.
Bye.
See ya.